Hello and welcome to Saturday Night Football here on PlayOnSports.com, where tonight a champion will be crowned in the North Coast section for Division III. It's the PlayOnSports.com pregame show live from Duker Stadium in Pinole, California, on the campus of Pinole Valley High School, just outside of Richmond. I'm Michael K. Smith, also known as Mike on the Mic, alongside Todd Allen on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the number 2 seed Marin Catholic Wildcats against the number 1 seeded El Cerrito Gauchos. Marin Catholic comes into tonight's game with just 1 loss compared to 12 wins, while El Cerrito's record is spotless as they are undefeated at 13-0. A heavy storm has been lingering around in the Bay Area for the last couple of days as we have seen on and off stages of heavy rain. At the moment, there is a slight drizzle, and that could play a factor if it picks up and gets even heavier of a downpour. It could play a factor in tonight's matchup between two teams that rely on spreading the ball around to very skilled athletes. And even though the site for tonight's game is technically considered neutral, this is pretty much a home game for the top-seeded Gauchos of El Cerrito, whose high school is only a couple of exits away on the Interstate 80, which is equivalent to about a 19-minute drive, whereas Marin Catholic does the whole Little Red Riding Hood story. They go through 101, over to 580, over the San Rafael Bridge, and then on to the 80 to get here to Duker Stadium, which is a drive that lasts a little bit longer than about an hour and a half. Todd, what are your takes on the game tonight, just really quickly? Yeah. I know kickoff's about to start here. I'm excited. I'm fired up.
I can't believe they couldn't wait to get this kickoff started, Michael. I just got to say one thing. El Cerrito, chance to make history tonight. Never have they been able to call themselves section champs. Tonight they have an opportunity to do that.
That is correct. And when I asked head coach Kenny Kahn what it would take for his team to bring home that first title, he was speechless. He said that's the best question he's been asked this whole season by any reporter, any journalist. I felt pretty good at that. Marin Catholic kicks it off to start this game. It's a high kick, shallow kick that's taken by El Cerrito and could go the distance. There is blocking ahead. Room down the left sideline. No flags at the moment. He will get wrangled out of bounds, but not before having a very good return to start this game. I couldn't get the number 4 player there for El Cerrito, but what a wonderful return to start this game on a shallow kick by Marin Catholic.
Yeah, it looked like Keith Benjamin, the twin brother of the starting quarterback for El Cerrito, taking the short kick and almost taking it to the house, Michael. And El Cerrito got the start they wanted 12 seconds into the game, and they're right on the doorstep.
And Keith Benjamin is a guy that I've been told to look out for by head coach Kenny Kahn. Here is El Cerrito in their pistol offense to get this game started. 1st and 10 at the Marin Catholic 11-yard line. Man in motion. And now Keelan Benjamin, the starting quarterback, in the backfield all by himself. He has all receivers to his disposal. He looks to his right, then brings the ball back down, and now takes off to the right side. He's trying to get into the end zone, and he will make it. Touchdown, El Cerrito. They have struck first here in the North Coast Section Division III championship game.
Keelan Benjamin taking it off the right side. Got a great block from Austin Harper, his tailback, who held the block and even pancaked the DB, walked into the end zone. And here we are 30 seconds into the game, and it's already 7-0 or 6-0 going on 7-0 for the Gauchos.
And this is the first game I've covered from El Cerrito this season. I've been told that they like to score and score in a hurry, and they wasted no time here on this opening couple plays to start the game. A great kickoff return that netted them deep inside Marin Catholic territory, and then one and done offensively with the quarterback Keelan Benjamin bringing the ball down on a ball fake. He was looking to throw to somebody along the right side, couldn't find anyone open, and then just took matters into his own hands and danced past a couple defenders and waltzed right on into the end zone. The extra point was good, and so El Cerrito has a 7-0 lead here very early in this game.
Wow, unbelievable start. And I actually have seen El Cerrito play. I got to cover their game last week against Annalee, and it was Keelan Benjamin's show. Dancing around in the backfield, the Annalee defense had no answer for him, so expect that on the Play on Sports Network for everybody watching that. Keelan Benjamin, definitely a guy that the Marin Catholic defense is going to have to try to contain because he's just too quick back there, and you already saw it. One play, one score.
Keelan Benjamin, who, yeah, you're right, he did pretty much He was the main guy in that big win for El Cerrito over Annalee. He went 23 of 28 for 211 yards in the air with 3 touchdowns, as well as 2 third-quarter scores with his legs. A 40-20 win. The junior leading this team. And so El Cerrito with a high kick that's taken at about the 17-yard line by Marin Catholic, and it seems that they had themselves a nice little wedge opened up, a decent return for Marin Catholic to start the game for them, and so now their offense will head out onto the field for their first time tonight, and they're led by their senior signal caller, Jared Goff, who is one of the top players in the Bay Area, let alone the state of California. I mean, this guy, Jared Goff, a highly touted recruit really since last year. He is committed to the University of California to play ball next year. And the first play of scrimmage for the Wildcats is a run up the middle with Akili Terry. Akili Terry will be in the starting mix, and really he's going to be the only back out there, as Marin Catholic likes to run what they consider a spread offense, and they're very quick, so they're going to get back on the ball. I'll let you know the rest of the starters in a minute, but it is Goff, shotgun set with Terry to his right here on this 2nd and 6, and the Wildcats dial up another run, and it's Terry once again starting up the middle and slashing to the right. He'll be about a yard shy of the first down, but joining Goff and Terry on the starting offense for Marin Catholic, they'll line up with 4 receivers. Their left side receivers are Michael Devine. He likes to go by Mikey, and Danny Noonan. And just like that, play gets up from underneath me as they pick up the first down on a quick run.
Yeah, they gave it to Akili Terry. Back-to-back plays right there. They're spreading out the El Cerrito defense and just going with a quick dive, and they picked up the first down.
No huddle offense so far for Marin Catholic. They pick up the first down in 3 plays, and now Jared Goff looking to the sidelines for this play. Trips set lined up to the left side of the field. Terry just about 2 yards behind Goff in the backfield. They fake the give to Terry. Goff releases a throw, firing and completing to Mikey Devine, 5'7", 155-pound senior, who makes the catch for the first down and getting Marin Catholic past the midfield line.
Yeah, Mikey Devine ran a little out and up right there and was wide open, and Goff actually underthrew it just a tad. Maybe could have had even a bigger play with that, but nevertheless picking up another first down.
So Goff hurrying this thing up once again. Shotgun set, this time Akili Terry just slightly above and to the right of him. They send a man in motion, a receiver from the left to the right, but it does to no avail as the give goes to Terry up the middle. Terry showing some power on his legs. Once again, positive yards. He has picked up positive yards each carry tonight. 4 yards to be exact on this carry. It'll be 2nd and 6. And now they have 2 receivers split out to each side, which is their standard look.
Both these offenses like to spread out their offenses and let their quarterback make decisions.
And so it's Goff receiving the shotgun snap, and he completes a pass. Yes, they're going to say the ball was caught. It was bobbled by the receiver, Keegan Mulcahy, but he did eventually haul it in right before he can get out of bounds. He showed that he had possession of the ball before going out of bounds. It was a really bang-bang play. Like I said, he was bobbling it as he was going out of bounds, but the sideline judge giving him the benefit of the doubt on the play, so that moves the sticks for Marin Catholic. It's now going to be 1st and 10 at the El Cerrito 35-yard line. A flag flies here on what looks to be a fly sweep type of designed play for Marin Catholic, and the early call from people up here in the booth seems that it's going to be illegal motion, and that will be the call. It's an illegal shift against the Marin Catholic Wildcats, so that'll back them up about 5 yards, and it'll be a redo of first down. It'll be 1st and 15. The other receivers on the right side will be Colton Hanley and Andrew Celis. Celis, who has had some considerable playing time for the Wildcats since he was a freshman, only a junior this year. And the kid can really explode on some big plays. And before this play can get going, whistles blow from the men in black and white stripes, and we'll see what this is all about. Still rather early in this ball game. It's going to be a false start on Marin Catholic, so back-to-back penalties now makes this a 1st and 20 situation. 9 minutes, 56 seconds left here in the first quarter. 7-0, the El Cerrito Gauchos, the number 1 seed, out front. Goff in the shotgun set. Coming across in motion is Billy Alton. The give goes to Terry, who has wide open room, gets past a leg tackle, up the middle, and it's going to be Akili Terry making up for those penalties and then some, picking up the 20 yards easily with a huge room to roam across the middle of the field.
Yeah, I got a couple of excellent blocks there by Bowen and Baylor on the left side, an absolutely huge hole. Keeley makes the safety miss and almost takes it to the distance. Great call on 1st and 20. El Cerrito defense looking pass, and they hit him with a quick run and pick up another first down.
Keegan Mulcahy hurrying off the field, and coming in to replace him is Morgan Mahalik. And talking to Coach Mazi Moyed, he said, watch out for Mahalik. He can really go up there and get the ball. Goff looking the other way, though. Right side, corner of the end zone, and that pass is incomplete. A bit overthrown for his target, Andrew Celis.
Yeah, it looked like he had Colton Hanley open in the flat early, but he wanted to go throw it up to Celis, and he just overthrew him a bit, bringing up 2nd down here.
Celis, who is a do-it-all threat for the Wildcats. He is the receiver. He'll get in at defense a little bit. He's not a starter, but he kicks, he punts, and he holds. Although Coach Moyed saying his ankle's been bothering him a little bit, so we'll see how he does kicking-wise tonight if that comes down to it. If there's a situation that comes down to it, and the Wildcats electing to run the ball once again through their main halfback, Terry, and this time the Gauchos had it sniffed out as Terry picks up no gain. It's going to be now 3rd and 10 for the Wildcats at the El Cerrito 14-yard line. Goff now receiving the play from the sidelines and is about a couple yards behind the center as he lines up in his shotgun set. 2 receivers to the left, 3 to the right. He now barks out some signals pointing to the left before the play, and then he fires a quick receiver screen for Andrew Celis. Celis, who breaks free of a first tackle attempt and picks up some extra yardage. I don't think it's going to be enough for the first down, however.
No, unfortunately, he ran into the back of one of his offensive linemen, and he really stopped him from getting the first down. There wasn't an El Cerrito defender near him, and that's going to bring up 4th down. Unfortunate turn of events there for the Marin Catholic offense, who had a really nice play called in the middle screen. It should have gone for a first down.
Decisions looming here for Mazi Moyed. 4th and 2 from the 6-yard line, and he's going to try to pick up the first down, maybe a touchdown. Shotgun set for Goff with a man in motion. Coming across from left to right. Flags fly. And will this be a 3rd penalty called against the Wildcats on this, their first opening drive offensively? And actually the penalty will go against El Cerrito, their first penalty that's been called against them tonight. And so that'll give the Wildcats a first down at the 3-yard line. And Marin Catholic will call a timeout with 7 minutes and 42 seconds left here in the first half. And you are listening to PlayOnSports.com's presentation of the North Coast Section Division III Championship game from Pinole Valley High School.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play on Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
All right, thank you, Todd. El Cerrito, a team that was picked to finish first in their newly formed league this year, the Tri-County Athletic League Rock Division. But I don't think that people had El Cerrito picked to play as good as they have been this year. And what I mean by that is getting to this point in the season undefeated, not a loss to their name. The closest game they played was earlier this year in their last non-conference game, which was against the Campolindo Cougars, a team that won the Division III crown last year, defeated this very Marin Catholic, well, not this very team. Some guys departed from this team, but they defeated the Marin Catholic Wildcats last year at the Oakland Coliseum in what was a highly contested game. Came down to the wire. Campolindo had to kick a field goal with time closing in the game to win it. And after the break, Marin Catholic gets a score.
It was Celis off tackle.
And so Andrew Celis, a wide receiver, taking the handoff, coming across in motion. And so a 3-yard punch in for Andrew Celis. And the Marin Catholic Wildcats are an extra point away from tying this game up.
Yeah, real unfortunate offsides penalty win against the El Cerrito defense on 4th and 2 from the 5-yard line, giving the Marin Catholic offense a fresh set of downs, and they punch it in on their first opportunity.
Chris Hill kicks it, and it is good for the extra point to tie this game up at now 7 points apiece between the top 2 seeds in the North Coast Section Division III. Michael Smith alongside Todd Allen. Videographer tonight is Vincent Wergis, and our producer is Zach Farmer here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. And Play On Sports is busy tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We got this game going on at the same time as the North Coast Section Division I championship between the number 1 and number 3 seeds in that division. James Logan taking on the De La Salle Spartans. And a big thanks is going to be given to Harold Aben throughout the night, as he is a top-notch journalist. He does a lot of rankings on, you'll see him on baypreps.com, you'll see him on prepfeed.com, and he lets us know that was an 11-play, 71-yard drive put together by the Marin Catholic Wildcats, which was ultimately punctuated by a 3-yard rush from Andrew Celis.
You know, you mentioned earlier about El Cerrito being a little bit of a surprise being here, and that basically comes down to the fact they have so many underclassmen that are playing such key roles. They didn't think the team would come together this quickly. Lots of juniors and juniors and sophomores on this team making key contributions, especially the juniors. People didn't think they'd come together as quickly as they have. They certainly have, and they have a bright future ahead of them. This El Cerrito team's not going anywhere.
Yeah, they do have a very talented crew of juniors. You talk about Jalen Harvey, Derek Calhoun, of course, the Benjamin brothers, and Darius Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
It was one play and into the house for El Cerrito on their first offensive drive. And now they'll come out for their second offensive possession of the game. And the Wildcats swarming that run play, not allowing the Gauchos to gain any momentum.
Like Marco Martin, number 33, got in there early, but really the Marin Catholic defense all over that first down rush. And Marin Catholic showing a lot of strength going up against this high-powered El Cerrito offense. They've got a momentum on their side here after answering the early score for the Gauchos.
2 receivers split to each side for the Gauchos offensively. Receiver jogging across in motion from right to left, and he gets the carry on the fly sweep. That's going to be number 9, Keith Benjamin, who is a first-team all-league receiver in the TCAL. And it's a first down pickup as well for Keith Benjamin, the twin brother of Keelan Benjamin, the starting quarterback. Quarterback Benjamin gets the ball, hands off to his brother, and it is a success. Benjamin taking the snap here on 1st and 10. And will then hand the ball off. And that is Keith Benjamin once again, his brother, getting the carry.
Yeah, Benjamin's coming in motion and taking the inside handoff, but the Marin Catholic defense not fooled again for the second consecutive first down. They're able to hold it to a short rush and see if they can make it happen again on second down.
Wildcats have shown some great defense all throughout the season, as they have also blown out the majority of the teams they've played this year. It's Keelan Benjamin trying to make something out of nothing here as he takes the snap and was realizing that he was trapped. And he tried to use his speed and his legs to get out of the trap and find some room to run, but Marin Catholic showing great containment on the outsides and not letting Benjamin break past them.
Yeah, good job by Leslie and Lemirle coming in and making the play. That's really what El Cerrito tried to do offensively last game, is just give it to Keelan, let him move around and make something happen with his legs. And outside from the first play they had offensively on this possession, Marin Catholic defense has shown really good poise and ability to not let Benjamin get to the outside.
Big third down coming here for El Cerrito. It's 3rd and 11 at their own 29-yard line, and before the play can get going, flags will fly from the refs. And it's a delay of game called against the El Cerrito Gauchos, who last week did everything right except in the penalty department. They had 18 penalties in their semifinal win against Annalee for 139 yards. 5-yard loss makes for 3rd and 16, and Benjamin dialing up a deep ball, airmails it, and it is intercepted by Marin Catholic, and now they're trying to get blockers ahead of them to make for a very healthy return, and a great tackle at the end of the play, but not before an even better return and interception by Johnny McLean, starting cornerback. Sophomore at that, getting some run. The ball, easy pickings for him as it went right to him. He drifted over kind of like a center fielder and made the play.
Yeah, Jalen Harvey was the wide receiver on the outside there. Had some confusion with Keelan Benjamin. He started to run a go route and then stopped. Benjamin thought he was going to keep going and airmailed it. It was basically a punt return for the sophomore Johnny McLean, just called up after the season and only played a few games here, but obviously making an impact. Number 25, the cornerback, Johnny McLean, with a nice interception and nice return, turning it back over to Marin Catholic.
So turnover thanks to the interception by Marin Catholic, and so they'll have the ball for their second time offensively tonight in a tie score, 7-7. with 4 minutes and 52 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Marin Catholic, white jerseys, white pants, and the blue helmet with the Wildcat Paw logo on the helmet. And it's Goff taking the snap and giving it to Akili Terry on a delayed counter type of run, and Terry up the middle for some hard yards once again. About 4 yards picked up there, Todd.
Yeah, nothing special, just going up the middle, but Marin Catholic trying to get this offense rolling again.
And this time, Goff keeps it himself, fakes to give to Terry, spins off a tackler. And Jared Goff showing his toughness, taking the ball up the middle.
Yeah,
not afraid of getting smacked by that defense.
Not at all. Not showing no fear, and not only showing toughness, but trickery. I think he fooled half of the people up in the booth here. I thought that he handed that off to Terry for sure, but he kept it himself and picked up a first down.
And so Goff continuing to move the sticks, showing great control of this Wildcat offense. Once again, another fake. This time he's going to look deep down the field with a throw, and the ball is incomplete. A diving attempt made by the receiver for Marin Catholic to try to make that catch. Jared Goff just slinging it out there towards the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like Colton Hanley had a step on the defensive back, but Goff just threw it over his head by about a yard, unable to connect, and an incomplete, but definitely had the man open deep. Let's see if they go back to the well again.
Once again, 3 receivers lined up to the left for Goff. Fakes to give to Terry, who's being used as a blocker for Goff. And Goff losing a little bit of grip on that pass. Intended for number 30, Billy Alton, another sophomore. 3rd and 10 now for the Wildcats. And the El Cerrito fans in front of us getting that loud Gauchos chant going here. course, it is to be mentioned that El Cerrito getting called out throughout almost every media outlet for their chitter-chatter in last week's ball game. And Marin Catholic will take a timeout with 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And let's talk about that a little bit, Todd. I mean, obviously it was a big topic, no matter where you turned, whether you turned to the main source who kind of started it all with Bob Podecki and the Press Democrat. The cops started it all by kind of just getting the teams out of the field as quick as they could last week with no shaking of hands. I mean, you were there to call that game. Did you notice anything odd about that, or were you kind of not even really realizing what was going on at the moment? Could you even hear the chitter-chatter from up in the press box? I mean, obviously, there was a lot of banter going on between both teams, and it got to the point where Gio Lemon even had to write a letter to the principal and athletic director of El Cerrito, pretty much telling telling him to relay the message to the team that they kind of need to be better sports. And
I think maybe it was blown out of proportion a little bit. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was definitely a hard-fought game, but I don't think that El Cerrito was playing in an unsportsmanlike way, much more than I've seen from other teams play. It was a really hard-fought game, Michael, to tell you the truth, and obviously, we'll see. I think they're playing a well-fought game here tonight, and we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that if sportsmanship becomes an issue, but I thought that was blown out of proportion.
Sure. And that's what I gathered from reading everything, too. And Marin Catholic, after the timeout, facing a 3rd and 16, and they pick up the first down, pass along the right side, and they're quick to get things going. Once again, it's Goff keeping it himself, trying to escape up the middle. And Jared Goff showing a rocket arm and showing some pretty good running ability as well, picking up the first down there, Todd.
Absolutely. Yeah, Goff again with the play fake loses the entire El Cerrito defense. Thank goodness for Jalen Harvey. Was the only man in the area able to make a tackle, and he did make a really nice foreign tackle, shedding a blocker and getting a hand on Goff. Otherwise, Goff would have taken it to the distance.
And so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the El Cerrito 12-yard line. Once again, Goff taking the snap, wanted to pass, pump faked once, and then stepped up towards the middle of the field, angling towards the right, and he was brought down pretty quickly by the Gauchos defense. A gain of about 1.5 yards. It'll be noted as 2 yards on the scoreboard, and so it'll be 2nd and 8. After the 2-yard carry by Goff. Goff keeping it himself once again. And El Cerrito's defense rising to the task. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah, good job there by the El Cerrito front four, not allowing Goff to pick up any additional yardage on that keeper. He's certainly not afraid to run the ball, more than I've seen him run the ball early in a ball game as he's done so far here tonight. But you mentioned earlier the control he has over this offense, Michael, just whether it's passing the ball, running the ball, and even calling out the plays. He just looks like he's in complete command of this offense as they try to take the lead here against El Cerrito.
3rd and 8 facing the Wildcats. Thanks for that analysis there, Todd. Trip set to the right, and flags flying, and is a penalty against the Wildcats.
As I mentioned, the control he has over the offense, he takes too long on that play, and that's going to back up the Marin Catholic offense 5 yards, and now he's in a 3rd and long situation. Let's see what Coach dials up for the Wildcats offense here on 3rd and long.
That's one thing about Jared Goff. He doesn't hurry things up if he doesn't have to. He shows a lot of poise. He's very calm, even when things can get away from the team. 3rd and 13 after the penalty. Goff looking and not completing a pass. He threw that one on the money. Receiver maybe had to dive a little bit to get that, but that ball was pretty much in and out the hands of his intended target, which I believe was Colton Hanley.
Yeah, it was Hanley coming across the middle. Goff didn't have a lot of room there, but he threw it on a needle right in his hands, and maybe a little bit of wetness. Maybe the ball was coming in there a little too hard, a little too hot. Unable to make the catch was Colton Hanley, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
And now that Gauchos defense or Gauchos chant really getting deafening up here in the booth.
Oh,
4th and 13, field goal attempt for the Wildcats. Bad snap. Chris Hill has to race back to retrieve the ball to prevent it from being a fumble recovery by El Cerrito, and then further damage. He gets on top of the ball and falls on it. And so that will be a turnover on downs, giving the ball back to the Gauchos of El Cerrito. And a costly mistake there by the Wildcats.
Yeah, very disappointing if you're Marin Catholic. You had 3rd and 8 right on the doorstep. You take the delay of game and then a dropped potential touchdown. You try to take the 3 points, you get a bad snap, turning it over to El Cerrito.
And so now Marin Catholic's defense in a hurry to get back out onto field to face Keelan Benjamin in the Gauchos offense. And now it's Jalen Harvey who makes the catch on the throw from Benjamin near side towards us in the booth. And Harvey trying to juke defenders out before even taking any steps forward. He was just doing a lot of shimmying and shaking, and then finally realized, you know what, maybe I should start getting upfield. Harvey picks up 8 yards on the reception.
Good job by Keelan Benjamin going right back to Jalen Harvey on that play after throwing the interception, trying to go to him on the next play. You want to get that confidence going between Benjamin and Harvey, because Harvey is certainly a weapon on the outside.
2nd and 2 for the Gauchos, who are just 2 yards shy of midfield. And Benjamin shows a pretty good fake, acted like he still had the ball, but in all reality, gave the ball off to Marcellus Pippins.
Yeah, Pippin's another one of those guys you'll see on El Cerrito that plays a lot of plays on both sides of the ball. We'll see if the conditioning becomes a factor later in the game, as El Cerrito has plenty of players, active players that play both sides of the ball almost every single down.
Pippins picked up the yards necessary for the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 right at midfield in the 50. And the man that is still on his feet and will pick up a 1st down for El Cerrito after getting tackled out of bounds is Austin Harper. Austin Harper, a senior who was kind of more of a backup running back before the start of the season to Marshawn Ardoin. And Marshawn, who at one point in time was injured towards the later half of the season, kind of created a chance for Austin Harper to step in, and he earned 1st-team running back honors in the TCAL with his strong performance off the bench. And Harper getting his bell rung once again.
Yeah, Harper's not a big running back. He's only 5'8", 175 pounds. Great feet. That guy, and you better have great feet if you're only 5'8", 170 pounds, but he does. He's got excellent feet, great shiftiness. He's able to create plays in the open field, and that's what they did on the previous play, getting him on the outside. That time, the Marin Catholic defense was able to bottle him inside. Let's look for Harper to get on the outside and make plays happen.
Austin Harper, who is a top returner to this El Cerrito Gauchos team, who last year also made it into the North Coast Section Division III playoff bracket, but lost in their opening round game as an 8 seed to 9-seeded Eureka at home by 1 point, 29-28. Folks, the first quarter has come to an end here at Duker Stadium on the campus of Pinole Valley in Pinole, California, with the score all knotted at 7 points between the top 2 seeds in the North Coast section for the Division III in the sport of football, between the El Cerrito Gauchos and the Marin Catholic Wildcats. El Cerrito will have the ball when we come back here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play on Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
All right, thank you, Todd. As I mentioned, El Cerrito in the playoffs last year lost by just 1 point at home in the opening round. A very bitter taste was left in their mouth after the way they ended their season last year. And on 2nd and 8, returning from the gap in the quarters, transition into the second quarter, and they run a fly sweep to no avail.
Yeah, 2nd and long there. Surprising they don't go to the air. Wondering if the rain that's been pretty consistent since the middle of the first quarter is starting to have an effect on the play calling. It's definitely a wet ball out there. More things can happen in the air when a wet ball happens. The quarterback has a difficult time gripping it. There can be sacks, fumbles, more turnovers. So maybe they're deciding to keep it on the ground more. Let's see what they decide to do on 3rd and 9.
Austin Harper off the field. Onto the field comes Derek Calhoun, the star linebacker, who's going to get some time offensively, used to block for the quarterback Keelan Benjamin, who throws a dart towards Jalen Harvey on the right side. Harvey picking up about 4 yards on that pass play. So it'll be 4th and 3 now for the Gauchos, who have the ball at the Marin Catholic 34-yard line. And Todd, this looks like go for it territory here.
Oh, definitely. It's that in-between area. You don't want to kick. You can't kick a field goal, and punting's not going to give you much yardage anyway. So why not take a shot on 4th and 4 and try to get lucky?
Keelan Benjamin calling out the shots. It'll be Calhoun behind him. And now El Cerrito is forced to call a timeout.
Probably a good decision, though, anyway. It's such a big point in the game here early on in the second quarter, 4th down, still in a tie ball game. You want to make sure you have the right personnel and the right play call here because it is such a huge play.
So while they're taking a timeout, how about one more announcement there, Todd?
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
And Todd, I was talking about how El Cerrito had a bad taste in their mouth after the way their season ended last year, one and done in the playoffs. What about Marin Catholic, who went undefeated getting into the championship game last year at the Oakland Coliseum? You're getting to play, in a professional venue. And then they get a game-leading field goal with about 2 minutes left, thinking that that's going to be the game-winning kick. And then Campolindo, who was just a team of destiny last year, a team that was picked to finish last in their division, goes undefeated as well. And facing a 2-point deficit, they march down the field and kick the game-winning field goal with seconds expiring off the clock. Keelan Benjamin on a 4th and 3, trying to make like Houdini right now, still has the ball. He has received some good blocking, and now he'll step up and get up the middle of the field. I don't think he had enough to pick up the first down, but Benjamin, who sure ranged back quite a bit, looking like vintage Michael Vick there on that play, really backpedaling a whole heck of a lot before reversing course, making about a circle-like figure and then cutting up the middle of the field.
It looked like he did have enough for the first down, but it's going to be wiped out by a holding penalty. An incredible individual effort by Keelan Benjamin, even making something happen on that play, but a holding penalty is going to bring it back. And now you're probably going to have to force a punting opportunity here on 4th and 24, it looks like.
Yeah, and the hold might have occurred when he started getting open here, reversing from right to left, because I thought for sure he was going to get dragged down, and he kind of makes it out of nowhere. And one of those big-time holes that kind of opened up for him to escape. Seemed like it could have been called on a hold. And so El Cerrito punts the ball here. And with the rain affecting the bounce on the turf, a punt that looked like it would normally take a bounce towards the end zone instead took a pretty furious bounce back towards El Cerrito. So El Cerrito downs the ball as quickly as they can.
Couple of big penalties so far in this game have cost both teams. The delay of game cost Marin Catholic an opportunity at a score there on their previous possession. As you talked about, penalties being such a big issue for El Cerrito last week. Another huge penalty here on 4th and 4, which Benjamin picked up the first down, it looked like, with his legs, wiped out that first down, and now turned it back over to Marin Catholic.
And so the Wildcats take over on offense at their own 21-yard line, and it's Terry getting driven back and smacked hard. So Keely Terry taking the handoff from his senior quarterback, Goff. And he was just blown up as soon as he tried to advance up the field.
Absolutely. I think it was Benjamin or a Pickett. I couldn't tell which of the single-digit linebackers came up and stuck Akili in the hole for a short, or actually a 4-yard loss on that play.
And the Gauchos defense chant made by the fans continuing to get louder and louder as this game goes on. A 4-yard loss on the run from Terry on the previous play, 2nd and 14. And Terry showing great resiliency. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not Terry on the carry. It's going to be number 10, Danny Noonan, a receiver who gets to run with the ball there.
Yeah, looked really comfortable running the ball, too. Picked up a huge gain there on 2nd down.
Yeah, he picks up 13 yards on the run to make 3rd and 1. And Terry, on a 3rd and short, picks up the 1st down. And so Marin Catholic advancing those sticks along their sideline for another set. It's going to be 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. Shotgun set, 4 receivers, 2 to each side. Terry, a yard and to the left behind his quarterback Goff. The give goes to Terry, who starts up the middle and then bounces out to the right side. Terry getting just to before the hash marks there on the near side of the field, still in the middle of the field after a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, nice tackle there by Johnny Tolliver. Looked on the inside. The number 54 for the El Cerrito defense single-handedly brought down Terry on that one.
Goff now in a shotgun set all by himself in the backfield. Here on 2nd and 7. Gaucho showing blitz. And the give goes to Andrew Celis, who is now in a jailbreak run as he gets free on the left sideline and then streaks up the middle, zigzagging back to the left. And Andrew Celis will get into the end zone. A 65-yard jailbreak run from the junior receiver. And Marin Catholic has their first lead of the evening.
Boy, Michael, you talk about football being a game of inches. It certainly was on that play. El Cerrito came with a linebacker blitz. Bryson Singleton had a hand on Celis, but Celis was able to break that tackle. And what happens when you get burned on a blitz? You have nobody in the secondary able to make the play. And Celis takes it all the way for the Marin Catholic score.
Andrew Celis, who has a knack for making big plays in big games, and continues the trend here tonight in this latest edition of Marin Catholic and their North Coast section run. 14-7 the score with the made extra point. Andrew Celis talking about the big plays that he has made and contributed last year in the North Coast Section Division III championship game, the game that I was talking about, where they lost by 2 points on a game-winning field goal with seconds ticking off the clock to Campolindo. But when Campolindo got a touchdown to make it 14-2, a 2-point score, it was directly after that when Andrew Celis provided a big spark for his Wildcats, returning a kickoff 98 yards to the house, almost in similar fashion to that play there, Todd. Just got along the sideline and just broke free from everybody. He didn't have to put on quite as much moves in open field like he did here when he had to juke out that one guy and then zigzag to the left. He just had a straight shot down the sidelines and was gone.
Andrew Celis certainly a special player in the open field, as evidenced by that run he had as only a sophomore last year in the final. And then here, an even bigger run in the North Coast section final to put Marin Catholic back on top, 14-7. And Andrew Celis, I mentioned, only a junior.
Yeah, Celis is a freshman, threw a touchdown in their 2010 North Coast section playoff semifinal loss to Ensenal at home on a Saturday afternoon. I covered that game, and I covered last year's game. So I told head coach Mazi Moyed, I don't mean to be a bit of a jinx to them. But I did say that in both of those games, Marin Catholic was wearing the blue uniforms. Tonight they're wearing the white. That could be a change of things as far as my jinx is considered. And Marin Catholic's kick bounces out of bounds, and so illegal procedure will bring the ball out to the 35-yard line for the El Cerrito Gauchos, who trail by a touchdown, 14-7. Keelan Benjamin, who was a mini Michael Vick, escaping like Houdini on a 4th down play to pick up the 1st down, but it was all negated and brought back to a holding call. And El Cerrito had to halt their drive and punt the ball away. This time it's Keelan Benjamin keeping it himself and sprinting up the middle and towards the right for about a 5 to 6 yard gain there, Todd.
Yeah, Benjamin's so good in the open field when he has the ball in his hands, usually on not designed plays. That time the design quarterback draw does pick up positive yardage on 1st down. Looks like about 2nd and 4.5 here.
Yeah, that play was designed to go to Keelan the whole time. Keelan on an option toss to the left side, and that will definitely not work out for the Gauchos. A toss to Austin Harper along the left side, and there was about 5 Marin Catholic Wildcat defenders sitting, waiting to pounce on Austin Harper.
Yeah.
And they tackle him for a huge loss of yards.
Luis Lemurle leading the defense, but there was, as you mentioned, 4 or 5 Marin Catholic defenders not fooled by that option play. Very slow to develop on the option play. You don't see that a lot from El Cerrito. Perhaps they're a little bit rusty doing it, but it puts them in a tough 3rd down and long situation here.
Yeah, the Lemurle brothers do a good job on the outside. Lewis and Felix. 3rd and 10 now for Benjamin and the Gauchos. Benjamin takes a snap and starts running to the right away, and now sees a breakdown into coverage and takes off down the field, trying so desperately to get to that 1st down stick.
I think Marco Martin made an incredible tackle there in the open field. All he had was the sidelines and his own ability to play defense, and he stuck Benjamin, able to prevent him from making the 1st down, and now it's 4th down and 2.
Marco Martin with this tackle on Keelan Benjamin.
Great job of using the sideline there by Marco.
Benjamin coming close but not getting a cigar there. And the Gauchos will punt the ball, and this time it takes a favorable bounce towards the end zone, and the Gauchos will down it just before it can reach the end zone. So a remarkable punt by El Cerrito, and even better coverage downfield to make sure to get down there in a hurry, because that ball took some quick bounces off the turf and looked like it was going to go all the way into the end zone. But great job of the speedsters on the punt team for the Gauchos to get down there and down the ball right at the Marin Catholic 1-yard line. You couldn't ask for a better job coverage-wise, Todd.
No, absolutely. Darius Pickett got down there and showed really good poise, pouncing on the ball at the 1-yard line and not letting it trickle in. And with this rain and the slick field and everything, I was worried about him losing his balance, but a really good job by him preventing that ball from getting in the end zone and putting Marin Catholic in a really tough situation here from their own 1.5-yard line.
Marin Catholic, who recorded a safety in last year's championship game against Campolindo, now in danger of surrendering a safety to the Gauchos. It's Jared Goff receiving the snap and keeping it himself to avoid danger and avoid a sack in the end zone for a safety. He steps up and starts jogging towards the left side of the field. He picks up 2 on the keeper, and so it'll be 2nd and 8. The rain continuing to pour down from the skies here in the Bay Area. Celis in motion, who ranges in motion behind both the quarterback Goff and the running back Terry, and it is Terry who takes the handoff and tries to bulldoze his way up the middle of the field. Terry picks up 5 on the carry. And so it'll be 3rd and 2. 3rd and 3 to be exact for the Wildcats at their own 9-yard line. Goff in shotgun set, fakes the give to Terry. Now has to bring the ball back, rolls out to his right, and he is going to be sacked by the Gauchos defense. Was he sacked in the end zone? That is the question.
No, I think he was able to stop himself from going into the end zone, but very dangerous play there. Goff scrambling, didn't want to throw an interception, so he kept the ball himself, able to stay out of the end zone, but now he's down at the 1.5-yard line, and Marin Catholic's going to have to punt deep in their own end here.
4th and 10. The Wildcats to punt. It is Celis from the far line, bordering the end zone and out of bounds area. And Celis gets off the punt with no problems. It's muffed for a little bit by the Gauchos, but then the returner picks it up and advances up the field. The returner there for El Cerrito, number 21, Marcellus Pippins, nicknamed Ooh-wee. And Pippins picking up positive yards on the return, making something happen out of nothing. And so El Cerrito now with great starting position here on this drive, as their offense will take to the field from the Marin Catholic 31-yard line. And this is all credited really to the great coverage from their punt unit that pinned the Wildcats as deep as they did. And now it's Keelan Benjamin looking to the skies, looking to the end zone, and the ball bounces in and out of the hands of the intended target. There was really good coverage on the play by Marin Catholic, who had 2 defenders in the area with the intended receiver, which was James Rice. Rice did try to make a leap and get the ball. Like I said, he was covered mighty heavily on that play. And even a man who was kind of around in the area, Keith Benjamin, looked like he was going to try to make the catch off the deflection. He couldn't. And so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Gauchos, with Benjamin all alone in the backfield. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to the left. Quarterback draw, and it's going to be Benjamin. Showing good speed, sprinting to the left side of the field. He's chased out of bounds by number 45 for Marin Catholic. That is Henry Baylor. Make that Jared Lazor.
Nice job by Benjamin there on 2nd and 10. Not sure if he just called his own number there or whether the play was going away, but he saw a hole and he took it, getting 7 yards and picking up close to a first down here, now 3rd down.
Big 3rd down here coming for the Gauchos. It's Benjamin receiving the snap on 3rd and 2, has room to run to his right side, and now he's being chased by a couple defenders from Marin Catholic. Benjamin throws a dart and completes it along the far sideline to his intended receiver there.
It's Jalen Harvey coming all the way back to the ball. He ran a corner route. He was in the end zone. He saw Benjamin rolling out, and he came all the way back to the ball about 20 yards. Great job by Harvey making the catch and getting the first down. Just an incredible job there by Harvey, and a penalty against Marin Catholic is going to give the El Cerrito Gauchos even better field position unless they decline it and just take the first down. Harvey was our player of the game last week, Michael. It just does so many things offensively and defensively, and he's not the best star on the team, but just the way his contributions to a winning team is a guy that is just so invaluable. And Harvey just showed it right there again, coming all the way back to the ball and picking up a huge first down for the Gaucho offense.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him and the rest of the playmakers as some big-time articles being put out about El Cerrito's dynamic athletes, both in the Contra Costa Times and in the San Francisco Chronicle. 1st and goal now for the Gauchos at the Marin Catholic 9-yard line, lining up in a rather odd formation, a formation they haven't lined up in all night. Getting the carry is going to be Jalen Harvey, I believe. Yes. No. It's actually Marcellus Pippins.
And Pippins is fired up, coming all the way down the sideline, getting a Gauchos crowd back into it as they tie the game with the extra point coming. It's now 14-13. He took it off left end, basically was untouched. Great job blocking by the Gauchos left side of the offensive line, as the extra point here will even things up if it goes through.
And the extra point does go through. And so we're back to a tie ball game here with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left before halftime. 14 is your score between the El Cerrito Gauchos and the Marin Catholic Wildcats. And it's Utah-bound Marcellus Pippins who puts it into the end zone. Once again, the coach telling me before the game just to call him ooh-wee. And so we got to do that. We got to make sure to call him that, Todd. But he is not the only guy that's being looked at as far as Division I schools go. You mentioned Jalen Harvey, who is getting looks from the likes of Notre Dame and Nebraska. And even Adarius Pickett is getting looked at to play at the next level. Adarius Pickett's dad, Antoine, was a baseball sensation at El Cerrito in the early 1980s when the team went 29-1. These kids coming from great genes. Pippin's dad, CM, excelled at basketball. And a deep kick drives back Marin Catholic. And a good initial pop. Cerrito. That was Adarius Pickett, who laid a pretty good hit on the returner, Sam Kilpack. And Sam Kilpack kind of stunned after taking that first hit from Pickett. And then kind of woozily made his way out of bounds there. Pickett really putting on a good stick there.
Yeah, Marin Catholic starting out in pretty tough field position again inside of their own 20 as they take over with just a little bit left before halftime, and really a great, well-played first half. Few penalties here and there making it a little bit sloppy, but with the rain and everything, two excellent teams going at it here, Michael, and a pleasure to be here on Play On Sports Network.
Some said this was going to be the best in the North Coast section, even the Bay Area.
Well, I'd have to agree with that so far.
As far as the most competitive, the best storylines coming into this one, and yeah, it sure has lived up to its billing. At the moment, a 14-14 tie, flags fly, and it was a penalty against the Marin Catholic Wildcats. Backs them up 5 yards, and so it's going to be first at their own 14-yard line. Goff receiving the shotgun snap, and now has to roll away from pressure to his left side. And the Gauchos front playing oh so strong.
Yeah,
it's like Johnny Tolliver making the tackle.
Yeah, but it was Derek Calhoun who had the initial hit in the backfield, but another blitz from the linebacker, Calhoun, gets right in Goff's face, and he's unable to make anything positive out of it, setting up a 2nd and long.
A 1-yard pickup by Goff, who had to escape some heavy duress. It's going to be 2nd and 14 for the Wildcats. Goff in the shotgun set all by himself. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Goff looks to the left and skips a pass, incomplete. Intended for Colton Hanley.
El Cerrito only rushing 3 on that 2nd and long, but Goff got rid of the ball very quickly. May have decided better off to give his receivers a chance to get downfield, but he went for the short pass, and it wasn't a very good pass. He skipped short of his receiver, setting up a 3rd and long.
And here comes that raucous Gauchos chant once again from these El Cerrito fans, who didn't really have to travel all too long to get to this site. For this champion team for the Wildcats, men in motion. And it goes to the main back, Akili Terry up the middle, who takes a really good shoulder pop at the end of the play by Austin Harper.
It's all going to depend on the spot here. He came very close to the sticks on 3rd and 14, just going right up the gut.
And the referees now.
Oh, it is a penalty going against the Marin Catholic offense.
Blowing their whistle. And yeah, an illegal shift, and I kind of saw that coming because there was 2 men kind of moving around. Usually you can only have 1 guy going in motion point in time, and they had a receiver coming across from left to right, and also Terry wasn't too sure in the backfield. He was moving around, and so that negates what was a pretty big pickup by Akili Terry, and so now it's a 3rd and 19 situation for the Marin Catholic Wildcats, backed up to their own 9-yard line. Goff getting up towards his lineman, barking out some instructions for this play. 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right. It's Terry in the backfield with Goff. Goff gives it on a delayed draw to Terry, who gets past a couple tackles and escapes into midfield, and then is brought down past the 40-yard line after he picks up a first down and then some.
Yeah, it looks like we're having technical difficulties with your picture, but let Michael and I paint the picture. A great call there on 3rd and 20. The defense was completely spread out, expecting pass. Marin Catholic break a couple tackles and picked up a first down with under 2 minutes left now and the clock rolling, Michael.
The clock is rolling, Todd. That is a factor with a minute 35 is where it's at right now. Goff in the shotgun set. Twins bunched up close on the right side. The give goes to Celis, who comes in motion as a receiver from right to left. And Celis will run the ball in a diagonal pattern towards his team's sideline, trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock. He was tackled before getting out of bounds, and so the clock continues to roll. It's now down to a minute 10 here before the half. Score tied at 14. And now trips to the left, or make that to the right, near side. And it's Goff. Play fake to Terry, deep down the field, and overthrown for his intended target, which was Morgan Mahalik.
Yeah, Morgan Mahalik ran a deep post there. Looked like he had maybe a yard and a half on the defender, got past the safety, but Goff had to get rid of it quickly and just overshot him by just a bit. Did stop the clock, though, as we just dribble underneath a minute left here, 55 seconds left remaining in the half, Michael.
And big ups to our producer, Zach Farmer, for getting our screen, what you guys are seeing back on. I know you guys had a little bit of a blackout there for a little bit, but hey, that's why you've got Todd and I. We'll give you expert analysis and broadcast. And now it's 3rd and 8 for the Wildcats at their own 44-yard line. Goff in his traditional shotgun set, trips receivers to the right. Goff pump faking and now delivers a ball that is outside the area to be caught by his receiver, that being Mahalik. Once again, he was looking for Mahalik, who ran a deep post route from the right side towards the middle of the field. And Goff, the ball must have just slipped out of his hands, Todd, as he threw it way to the right and nowhere in the reach for Mahalik.
You know, actually, I think Keith Benjamin came up and was kind of jumped that route, and it looked like Goff maybe at the last second decided, I better just throw this ball over everybody's head, because Benjamin saw that play coming and jumped right in front of the path of the receiver. Fortunate for Marin Catholic, only an incompletion. They're going to have to punt the ball away.
And so Marin Catholic punting the ball away as 4th and long. They don't want to mess with it and try to go for it, especially in their own territory. And really great punt there by Andrew Celis. It was high, it was deep, and even best of all for the Marin Catholic Wildcats, it was not catchable and not returnable for the very speedy punt return unit of the El Cerrito Gauchos. It bounces out of bounds before the Gauchos punt returner can get it. You couldn't have asked for a better punt given the situation, given the team who's returning to punt. El Cerrito probably the fastest team in the Bay Area. And so clock stops with 42.8 seconds left, and El Cerrito comes out onto the field. They're looking for a quick score to try to take the lead before halftime. 1st and 10 for the Gauchos at their own 14-yard line. Keelan Benjamin in close to his center. Benjamin takes a snap and gives the ball off to Austin Harper.
Looks like El Cerrito's content to just take this one to halftime, and that credit to the punt, as you mentioned. The great job of calling, just trying to kick it out of bounds, and an excellent job of execution by Celis, punting it out of bounds and not letting the El Cerrito playmakers make a play. And as I mentioned, El Cerrito content just to take this thing into halftime with a tie score.
Austin Harper will jog off the field and head to the bench. And Todd, you are indeed right. The Gauchos seem content with the score and everything going into the half. The Gauchos will have to kick off to start the second half, but right now they are showing no signs of being worried at where the score is at here in this North Coast Section Division III championship game versus the Marin Catholic Wildcats. And we will head into halftime. Both teams will head into halftime. We'll head into halftime. We'll take a break, and then Todd and I will come back with a halftime show that will recap the way the team scored, along with giving you other scores in the area and other championship games. That's coming up on the halftime show here on PlayOnSports.com. But before we go into our break, Just want to let you know the score once again, folks. It is tied at 14-all between the number 2 seed Marin Catholic Wildcats and the number 1 seed El Cerrito Gauchos here from Duker Stadium and on the campus of Pinole Valley High School in Pinole, California. Sit back, get a little bit of a breather, and then come back for the halftime show, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from Duker Stadium on the campus of Pinole Valley Pinole Valley High School in Pinole, California. Michael Smith alongside Todd Allen. Halftime score knotted up at 14 between the top two seeds in the North Coast section, Division III, who are battling it out for a title tonight. And Todd, it's been not as big of an offensive showcase as you would have thought these two teams were going to display tonight going into the game. Both teams, excuse me there, folks, both teams winning most of their games by a majority of 30 points or more. And tonight, not the case. Of course, the rain maybe playing a big factor in that. Terry leading Marin Catholic, 12 carries, 84 yards, no touchdown. Celis has been the big guy for them. 2 carries, 68 yards. Both carries have gone for touchdowns. Goff, though, the big quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the Bay Area, let alone the state of California, even the nation, as far as he's concerned, only 4 for 11, 38 yards in the air tonight. Yeah, Goff struggling a little bit. The constant pressure from El Cerrito's getting him to a little bit, and you have to think that this downpour of rain you're having this whole weekend, making the field slick, making the ball slick, is definitely having an effect on Goff a little bit. Let's see if he can turn it around in the second half, although it doesn't appear that the rain's going to let up in the second half. Yeah, it's been even taking a toll on El Cerrito as well, who only has 70 yards of total offense in the first half, led by their quarterback, Keelan Benjamin, who had 6 carries for 29 yards, including an 11-yard touchdown run. Marcellus Pippins, 2 carries, 11 yards, and an 8-yard touchdown run. We'll break down how they scored the next time we get a break, but El Cerrito kicks off here to start the second half, and Marin Catholic takes the kickoff from about their own 15-yard line, starts to the left, and then runs to the right with some great blocking, and it is Sam Kilpack on the return, and Kilpack will get the ball out to just past the 30-yard line, just before the 35. We should be in for an incredible second half here, Michael. I'm really excited about here. Division III North Coast Section Championship on the line. El Cerrito going for their first one ever. Marin Catholic going for, their 9th? But still, Two teams hungry for a championship here tonight. And rain, sleet, or snow, somebody's going to come out of here a champion. Should be an exciting 24 minutes. That it should be, Todd. I will agree with you on that. Trips look to the right side. Celis in motion. The give goes to Terry up the middle. And El Cerrito not having any of it, making the early tackle. Yeah, it looked like Johnny Tolliver again. He's been really strong up the middle, playing in the nose tackle position, number 54. That's the second time he's made a single-handed tackle on the running back, getting a good stop there on first down, carrying their defensive momentum that they showed late in the first half, carrying that over into the second half so far. Goff looking a little confused, trying to get the play call from the coaches on the sidelines here. 2nd and 10 at his own 35-yard line. Quick give to Akili Terry, who is once again swallowed up by the swarming, speedy defense of the El Cerrito Gauchos. Led by guess who, Michael? Johnny Tolliver, 54, coming right up the gut again and stuffing the running back even before he had an opportunity to carry that ball for any sort of gain, setting up a 3rd and long. Guess we'll start calling him Johnny on the spot from now on. There you go. A gain of none for the Wildcats, who are now in a 3rd and 10 predicament. And it's Goff once again looking confused. His arms are in the air, not knowing what's going on. Now he's settling back in his shotgun set. Akili Terry about a yard or two behind him and to his left. And now it's Goff looking deep down the field, and the ball is incomplete and nearly picked off by El Cerrito. Marcellus Pippins had an opportunity to pull that one in. He had it the entire way. Wide receiver had no chance going up for that ball. Pippins came up for it perfectly, just bounced right off his hands. He's talking to his coaches saying, my bad, I should have had that one. But nevertheless, El Cerrito is going to take over the ball here in probably pretty good field position. And an injured El Cerrito Gaucho, William Dreyer, urging the fans to get loud. He's on crutches on the sidelines with his pink gloves. A 4th and 10 now for the Wildcats, who will be forced to punt. And it's Andrew Celis with another phenomenal sky-high punt that backs up the returner, which is Marcellus Pippins, who nearly slips and loses footing, but now is still on his feet and spins past one tackle attempt, but couldn't quite break free from it altogether as he is brought down after about, I would say, a 6 to 8 yard return. Yeah, that sounds about right. Nice job by Pippins in this driving rainstorm to just hang on to the ball. I think that's going to come into play here. As the guys get more fatigued, they might start carrying the ball a little bit
lighter than they normally would. Might see some balls popping out here in the second half, so keep an eye on that.
And now Pippins will get a chance to get some Gatorade in his system. Helmet off on the sidelines. Shoulder pat from another man on the sidelines. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Gauchos on their own 35-yard line. Personnel getting set in their right places. Benjamin nearly fumbles a snap, but does hang on and delivers a high pass that is gone up and got by the receiver.
Jalen Harvey, number 11 on the outside.
He really climbed the ladder on that one, huh, Tom?
I was telling you earlier, Michael, this guy can do it all, offensively and defensively, going up and making a really nice catch, hauling it in, and keeping his feet in bounds and picking up 6 yards on first down.
Jalen Harvey, one of the captains on this team, was named the Offensive Player of the Year in the Tri-County Athletic League Rock Division, first team, as well on the defensive side of the ball. But before the second down play can get going, flags fly, and the penalty will go against the Gauchos in green and black. They're in the all-black uniforms tonight with the green numbers outlined in white and the shiny green helmets with the white face mask. So what was a 2nd and 4 situation before the ball was snapped, before the whistle was blown, now turns into a 2nd and 9 for the Gauchos, backed up now to their own 35-yard line. And now frantically getting into position is some members of the Marin Catholic Wildcats defense. And now it's Keelan Benjamin stepping up, avoiding the sack, and starting to get it going up the middle of the field before he is hit pretty hard by a Wildcat linebacker.
Yeah, Benjamin was able to scramble and get a couple of yards on that play, but he had James Rice down the left sideline wide open, uncovered, and he just missed him. And Keelan's just trying to make a play back there. He often takes off trying to run maybe a little too quickly. If he would have kept his eyes downfield, he probably would have spotted Rice for an easy 6 points. Unfortunately, it's going to set up a 3rd and 7 after a short gain by Benjamin.
Keelan reminded me of a quarterback that we watched, Zach and I, on Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago, in Antoine Porter, and just that he likes to try to keep it himself and makes plays happen with his own legs, and figures if he's the quarterback, he's going to be the one to really make this thing go. And before he can make something go on a 3rd down, once again, whistles blow, flags fly, and a penalty again against the Gauchos. Makes now a 3rd and 12 situation. And now the fans on the far sideline, the Marin Catholic Wildcats fans, they're trying to make as much noise as they can to disrupt the Gauchos offense and show support for their defense. It's Benjamin, shotgun set, stepping up, avoiding the pressure that was coming in at him, and now he's running, still on his feet, puts together some good moves before being pushed out of bounds, and Keelan Benjamin, who has just been a magician all across the field tonight, doing a great job of avoiding any kind of torrential pressure coming his way from the Marin Catholic Wildcats defense. Todd really doing a good job of escaping past defense and picking up the 1st down.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was on a 3rd and long, definitely deflating for Marin Catholic. He also got another great block from Marcellus Pippins on the outside that sprang it open for the 1st down.
And now it's Benjamin under center, and a quick handoff for a sweep play to Austin Harper. And Austin Harper, the little spark plug he is on that run play, gets to the outside, shows a great burst, and moves the Gauchos past the sticks for another 1st down.
Yeah, that's back-to-back big plays for the running game from El Cerrito, starting to get some momentum going on their offense. And you can tell how much of a huge play that 3rd and 15 scramble by Keelan Benjamin has just lit a fire into this team and the crowd here on the El Cerrito. Clearly an advantage as far as the amount of people here supporting El Cerrito starting to get loud, and they can smell the lead as they march down into Marin Catholic territory.
And worthy of noting, it's Jalen Harvey right now who might have suffered a little bit of a cramp out there on the field as he's getting stretched out by some of the staff on this El Cerrito team. And there was a penalty after the play, which gives additional yards to the Gauchos, but there was a fumble on this play. And might the Gauchos have coughed it up and turned it over? Luckily for them, they did not.
Yeah, somehow Keelan Benjamin was able to bounce on that ball. It looked like Marin Catholic had a lot of bodies around the ball. We thought here in the booth that they had come up with it, but no, Keelan Benjamin able to recover and keep this drive alive for the Gauchos.
Just want to thank all that are listening and watching this game that is being broadcast on both playonsports.com and CIFNorthCoast.tv. It's now 2nd and 14 for the Gauchos. Ball at the Marin Catholic 27-yard line. A power I formation behind Benjamin, who has to back up and throw off his back leg. And the pass is batted down in the air as it was starting to come back down. And a great defensive play there made by...
That's the sophomore, I think, Johnny McLean, who already has another.
Yeah.
That's a second big play on defense coming up from the secondary. It looked like Benjamin had his man open early, but great job closing on the ball by McLean there. Another 3rd down and long situation here coming up, Michael. You know Keelan Benjamin wants to get the ball in his hands and try to make something happen. Let's see if he keeps it himself or decides to throw it downfield.
Rain still falling here in Pinole. 3rd and 14 for the Gauchos. It's Benjamin in the shotgun set with no one in the backfield joining him. And now he is forced to take off, and he might have coughed the ball up. Marin Catholic signaling that they have taken over, and yes, the first true turnover of the night
Number 7.
for the El Cerrito Gauchos as Keelan Benjamin, in an effort to escape the heavy duress that was put on by the Marin Catholic Wildcats, coughs the ball up. The Wildcats recover, and now they're sidelined, juiced, and feeling like maybe they have the momentum on their sides, Todd.
Yeah, they absolutely, Michael. Looked like El Cerrito was about to go in for a score, potentially at least pin it down deep, and they turned the ball over. Second time that Benjamin had fumbled on that series, he was able to get back on it the first time, but not the second time as Marin Catholic takes over with the game still tied at 14.
Only so much luck afforded to the Gauchos on that drive. It's now 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 34-yard line. Celis in motion. Goff looked like maybe he wanted to throw a wide receiver screen for Celis. Instead, he keeps it himself and takes off towards us here in the booth along the near side. And Goff is really, not known as a big-time running quarterback, although he has ran for some touchdowns here in the postseason, but really showing some great agility. Just juking out a couple defenders on routes to these runs of about 4 or 5 yards. This time he picks up 9 on the keeper. It's 2nd and 1. He's in shotgun set with Terry right behind him. The give will go to Terry. No, actually it's going to be Goff making the late change and keeping it himself, picking up the first down. And that's just great awareness there by Goff. I think the play, Todd, was set to give it to Terry, but he was giving it to him, and then he was like, no, I got to keep it myself. I think we'll have better success. He then held on to the ball himself and found some room to run, wiggling his way through the middle of the field and picking up the first down.
Yeah, good decision by Goff. You mentioned it. He held that ball into the gut of the running back for quite a long time before snatching it back, but it was the right call. He picks up the first down. Goff does show a lot of nimbleness for a guy his size. With pretty good feet, able to avoid the tackles and pick up another first down.
Very nimble. 1st and deep. Make that 1st and 10. Goff looking deep. And the pass is hauled in. What a completion from Jared Goff to Connor Mulcahy. Make that Keegan Mulcahy, who gets down to his knees and makes the catch before the ball hits the ground. What have you got to say about that one,
Well, great
Todd?
job by Jared Goff. He saw he had single coverage on the outside with Mulcahy, who ran just a simple post pattern and got past the defender, and they're inside the red zone here. Marin Catholic knocking on the door.
The Wildcats all the way down to the Gauchos 12-yard line. It's Goff, option, right side. And Goff, lucky if he picked up a yard on the play.
Yeah, you know, Goff actually underthrew that ball a little bit. If he would have put some air under it and let Mulcahy run underneath that, that could have been 6.
Yeah.
But definitely Marin Catholic happy to pick up the huge first down on a long completion to Mulcahy. Just a junior, the wide receiver, 6'3", 175 pounds, showed a lot of burst getting by the cornerback on that previous play.
No yards picked up on the run by Goff previous play, so it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. And Goff completes a quick pass. Make that, he hands it off to Terry, I'm sorry. And Terry makes like a banana and splits almost into the end zone, gets tackled a yard shy. It's going to be 1st and goal right at the 1, right at the inch line for the Wildcats.
Touchdown, Marin Catholic.
And Marin Catholic's going to punch it in. Just like that. Sorry, I was getting lost in the conversation of how much titles Marin Catholic has. Todd, did you see that play a little bit better than I?
I didn't see who got the handoff, but it was just a simple dive right up the middle. They were right on the half-yard line, and they were able to punch it in. Got good push up front from the big dogs up front, and Marin Catholic takes the lead.
And the kick is up from Hill. And so Marin Catholic strikes first here in the second half to take the lead. It's just been a back-and-forth battle between the top 2 teams in the Division III North Coast section. 21-14, the Wildcats out on top.
Marin Catholic did a great job there of taking advantage of the first turnover of the ball game. El Cerrito coughs it up, Benjamin. And Marin Catholic goes 66 yards in 6 plays in order to take the lead here. And as the rain sort of stopped pouring down rain for the Marin Catholic offense, let's see if it does the same here for El Cerrito. Marin Catholic, when El Cerrito had the ball previously, it was pouring down rain, very slippery, and then it just seemed to lighten up just a bit for Marin Catholic's offense as they were able to control the ball and take it all the way downfield with some nice passes from Goff and some nice running from Akili Terry.
That was a 6-play, 61-yard drive for the Wildcats. A 1-yard touchdown run to take the lead. And that drive wouldn't have been possible without a turnover by the Gauchos. Keelan Benjamin, the quarterback, a junior, fumbling the ball away, giving the Marin Catholic Wildcats a chance to gain some momentum and use that momentum to their advantage. A great kick from Andrew Celis out of the end zone, and so it'll be a touchback as that ball sailed over the outstretched reach of one of the receivers for El Cerrito, that being a Darius Pickett.
Yeah, it's answer time if you're the El Cerrito offense here, and they're certainly a little bit deflated, it looks like, after that turnover turned into 6 points from Marin Catholic. Hopefully they can get a couple of first downs together and get their crowd back into it because it is silent here on the El Cerrito sideline.
And so it was Terry who scored on that 1-yard run. 1st and 10 for the Gauchos. Quick pass, left side. Caught. And that's a Darius Pickett. No, actually that's a...
Yeah, I think that was Pickett.
Was it Pickett
8,
who made the catch?
Yeah, it looked like Pickett made the catch on the simple out pattern for a gain of 4. Nice pitch and catch there, but still nice job of tackling from the Marin Catholic secondary in order to prevent it from getting a longer gain.
A 4-yard gain on the pass from Benjamin to Pickett. And Marin Catholic's defensive line inching up close before the play started. I thought they might have been offsides,
yeah, so
but
did I.
No flag was thrown. And for the Gauchos, they run the ball and pick up some positive yards, 3 to be exact. And so now it's 3rd and 3. Jalen Harvey jogging out to his spot as the far wide out, right side of the field. He's one of 3 receivers on the right side for Benjamin. Benjamin receives the low shotgun snap and now takes off, escaping from the pressure, and he is going to be gang tackled by the Wildcats at the end of the play. And a late flag comes out as Keelan Benjamin was being brought down. There's about 2 to 3 defenders in the area, and one of them might have grazed a face mask or had some kind of...
Yeah, that's what they called, Michael. It looked like some of the Marin Catholic defenders were trying to hold him up, and while the other guys tried to strip the ball out, but one of the defenders, I didn't get the number, caught a pretty big handful of Keelan's face mask and added an extra 5 yards onto that first down run by Benjamin.
So adding fuel to the fire for the Gauchos here. They pick up the first down on the run and then get some additional yardage.
Ball on the ground again.
And another fumble for the Gauchos. It's Austin Harper who puts the ball on the turf and then picks up his mistake, runs around in the backfield, and then tries to get upfield towards the left side. But great range and speed and containment by the Marin Catholic Wildcat defense, not allowing Harper to get positive yards on his mistake.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty decent pitch there from Benjamin. It just went right off the hands of Harper. He was able to corral the ball and get going a little bit, but still a loss of 9 on the play.
Pickett in motion from left to right. It's Benjamin rolling out to the right after the fake handoff to Austin Harper. Now gets blocking help in front of him along the right side and completes a comeback pass to his receiver, which is going to be Jalen Harvey on the reception.
Yeah, Jalen Harvey again coming way back to the ball. He does a really good job of doing that and giving Benjamin a target along the sidelines. He does make the catch and pick up 10, but still, after the fumble and the loss of 10 on the previous play, they're still looking at a 3rd and long situation for the Gauchos.
Austin Harper will limp off the field. A 10-yard pickup for the Gauchos, brings the ball back to the original line of scrimmage and now makes for a 3rd and long. Benjamin barking out instructions now, and he rolls out to his left, steps up from the pressure, finds room across the middle of the field, dashes out to the right side, down the sideline, past the 20, has room, and he will get into the end zone for a touchdown.
No flags.
Keelan Benjamin cannot be touched on that touchdown run.
Yeah, 3rd and 10 there. You know Keelan Benjamin's going to want to take it himself, but the Marin Catholic defense could do nothing about it. Keelan Benjamin weaving his way through the Marin Catholic Wildcat defense with ease, taking it down the sidelines and basically walking the last 5 yards for the equalizing touchdown pending the extra point.
And that touchdown run electrifying the El Cerrito fans in attendance here at Duker Stadium in Pinole, California. And so once again, Todd, we are put back in a tie score, 21-21 with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left to play still in the 3rd quarter.
This has been an amazing game so far. The swings and momentum have just come fast and furious. Once one team thinks that they have the other team down, the other team bounces back and makes a big play. Right there, the Marin Catholic crowd was going nuts, forcing a 3rd and 10. After a fumble made it 2nd and 20, they get it to the 3rd and 10, and Keelan Benjamin takes it himself, going, I think it was 60-some yards, wasn't it, on that touchdown run, Michael?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a very lengthy touchdown run. I believe it was 60 to be exact. The ball might have been placed right at the 40.
Just such a weapon is Benjamin when nothing else is going on. If you're having struggle with your running game, if your wide receivers aren't getting open, just give him the ball and he can make something happen. Certainly an incredible athlete, Keelan Benjamin, making his statement for player of the game. We still got a long way to go, but he definitely made up for the fumble on the previous possession.
And El Cerrito with a kick that has the potential of a great return for Marin Catholic. It was Sam Kilpack providing a little bit of resiliency after his defense surrendered a long touchdown run to the starting quarterback for El Cerrito. Kilpack doing his best job of getting the ball as far up the field as he could on that
Yeah, he
kick
did a
return.
really good job there. The El Cerrito kicking team had over pursued to the left, and he just took it down the left sideline and picked it up almost 40 yards. He's over across the 40-yard line right on the doorstep of El Cerrito side of the football.
3 receivers to the right for Goff here as he takes to the field offensively again here in the third quarter. Goff, another skipper of a pass that bounces up on the turf in front of Andrew Celis. That pass was nowhere near catchable for number 4 on the Wildcats. And Celis will walk back to the quarterback and talk some things out. Him and Goff work pretty well together. And so now it's going to be a 2nd and 10 situation. 4 receiver set with 2 receivers split to each side. El Cerrito's defense playing tricks on Marin Catholic. Did they get Marin Catholic to jump? Or did they jump? And actually, the mind tricks reverse what they thought they were going to do. They thought that they were going to try to make Marin Catholic jump, and instead they jumped. It's encroachment called against the El Cerrito's defense, which will result in a 5-yard gain and a replay of 2nd down for Marin Catholic. And Jared Goff on 2nd and 5, looking for Celis once again. Celis had to slide down to a knee, could not make the catch. In and out of his hands.
Yeah, that's back-to-back plays where Goff and Celis unable to connect. That one looked like a pretty good throw, a little bit low, but Celis is known to go down and make those plays. Unable to come up with that one, but it is a 3rd and 5 opportunity coming up for Marin Catholic.
It was Jared Goff who willed his team to victory last week, coming back from down 38-17 to make it a 43-38 game. Out in his home stadium in the semifinal game.
Big play upcoming here. A 2-yard gain on 3rd and 5 sets up a 4th down just across the 50-yard line, Michael. And it looks like Marin Catholic is going to go for it.
And so Goff will go for it. He's pretty confident right now. Yelling out some audibles for his teammates. Man in motion. Comes across the vision of Goff, who now seems confused. And a timeout will be taken by Marin Catholic. I think they were just trying to see if they could get El Cerrito to jump for a 2nd time in this offensive drive. And El Cerrito very smartly played, aware of the ball, did not jump, did not play into the hands of what Marin Catholic was trying to do. And so Marin Catholic realizes that and has to take a timeout here with 1:56 left to play in the 3rd. Folks, you're listening to the broadcast of the North Coast Section Division III Championship on PlayOnSports.com and CIFNorthCoast.tv.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play on Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to PlayOnSports.com/SBP.
All right, thank you, Todd. This crowd, the loudest I've heard it tonight here on a 4th and 2. And Marin Catholic opts to go for it. It's a handoff to Terry, who surges past his offensive line, picking up the 1st down. What a decision there by Marin Catholic. And what an even better run by their running back, Terry.
Yeah, very aggressive call there by Coach Moyed, and then great job of execution by the offensive lineman, and especially number 19, Akili Terry, picking up the 1st and getting a fresh set of downs.
Terry staying low and then jumping up high at the end to try to break that ball over the plane for the 1st down. And now it's Terry starting up the middle and cutting to the right side of the field, and it'll be Terry who will be close to another 1st down. I think he'll be about a yard shy.
Marin Catholic showing good tempo. A lot of confidence from this senior quarterback, Goff.
That is one thing he has no problem exuding, his confidence, and Goff keeping it himself and putting this game into his hands and now his legs as he roams to his right and picks up the first down.
Jared Goff, as we mentioned, headed to Cal Berkeley next year. Not sure who his head coach is going to be, but whoever it is certainly has a senior, or at least a senior in high school that's going to be a great leader from the moment he steps onto campus next year in Berkeley.
A lot of great things said about Jared Goff in a recent article by Tim Minicuch in the Marin Independent Journal. We'll talk about some of those things in just a second, as it's Terry getting the carry and getting some great protection up front, as the linemen there for Marin Catholic, a combined effort by Henry Harmon and Gunnar Graham, forcing their will along the right side. But this is what head coach Mazi Moya had said about his quarterback, saying, quote, Jared stays very composed. He has that coolness about him. That's what makes him special above his talents, end quote. A lot of people comparing him to another guy that was known for his coolness in the Bay Area. I'm talking about Joe Montana. Some called him Joe Cool when he was with the Niners, leading those comeback drives. Most notably the drive that the Niners made against the Bengals in Super Bowl 23. Well, folks, that will end the third quarter with the score at 21 apiece between the top two seeds in the North Coast Section 3. Like I said, this one's for all the marbles. Not only is it for a chance to win the North Coast Section Championship in Division 3, but it's also the chance for whoever wins tonight an opportunity to move on, to live to play another game, as for sure, you know, taken into the consideration of the toughness of all the teams in this North Coast Section Division 3 bracket. Whoever wins tonight will move on to play in a state regional game next week.
Oh, without a doubt, and neither of these teams wants to go home. I can tell you that much. Neither of these guys want their season to end here, and we're in for an exciting 12 minutes, Michael.
They're fighting it out to the end, and I just got to ask you really quick before we get going, who do you think has the edge going into the fourth quarter?
I honestly do not know. I mean, this is going to be a great finish, and I think both teams can serve. Looks like Goff's going for a touchdown here, Michael.
And it's Goff getting into the end zone, Todd. A 30-yard gallop down the right sideline. No flags.
Wow, that all happened very quickly. They go on the quick count. And can you ask him that question now? Because now I'm going to have to give the edge to Marin Catholic now that they got the lead.
Jared Goff getting it done with his legs. Chris Hill for the extra point. And it is good. And so Marin Catholic jumps out in front here on the first play of the fourth quarter. 28-21 is your score. But this game is nowhere near over.
No, a long way to go here. Still with just under 12 minutes in the fourth quarter remaining. Only one play in. But Goff certainly made an unbelievable play. Something that you don't see Joe Montana do in his 49er days was run the ball, and that's what Goff brings. He's got the great arm, and he can do you with his legs. A little bit Aaron Rodgers-ish, I think, if you're going to compare the way he's 6'4", 6'5". He's got quick feet, good legs, great decision-making, an awesome leader. I'm telling you, Cal's got a good one coming here, but far from over is this North Coast Division III championship game, Michael. It's going to be an exciting finish. Either way, both of these teams have played tremendously so far tonight.
Yeah, Cal is getting themselves quite the quarterback. Goff at 6'5", limitless talent. We've seen that tonight. He can throw the ball and run. And just think, he's only 6'5" at 18. He still has room to grow. Cal's going to have themselves a good quarterback controversy like the Niners between him and Zach Klein. Who are you going to go with? They're both quality quarterbacks. A nice kick that takes a bounce and then is picked up by Marcellus Pippins. Pippins getting knocked around like a pinball before finally being brought down just before his team's own 20-yard line. And so El Cerrito will now come onto the field with their athletic quarterback. Head coach Mazi Moyed of Marin Catholic saying Benjamin is a very athletic quarterback. They look fast on film and even faster when you watch them in person. We have good football speed on our team too, but we're playing football, not running the 4x100, thank God. End quote. Great quote from Mazi Moyed. And so it's El Cerrito. Keelan Benjamin. First looked like he wanted to pass, then brought the ball down, escaped from pressure, and released the ball at the last minute to his wide receiver, that being number 9, his brother, Keith Benjamin, his twin brother. And what do you know, number 9 makes a catch for 9 yards, and so it'll be 2nd and 1 left to pick up for the Gauchos at their own 29-yard line. El Cerrito trying to get a comeback scoring march here after surrendering the lead to start the 4th quarter. Quick wide receiver bubble screen set up from brother to brother as Keelan flings one out to his brother Keith. Keith, who had some shake and bake moves down the near sideline, and as he was getting roped out of bounds, there might have been a late hit as he was out of bounds already because a flag flew very late from the refs, and yes, a personal foul call against the Wildcats.
Yeah, that was a real unfortunate play there for the Marin Catholic defense. I'm waiting to hear a number here, but clearly Keith Benjamin had the first down and was out of bounds, and then he was corralled by the defender and basically whiplashed to the ground. Easy call for the officials. Flags came in fast and furious, adding 15 yards to that first down play as they head into Marin Catholic territory.
Benjamin quick to receive his snap after the advancement in yards from the penalty, and once again Benjamin accurate in his throwing as he fires another dart, this time to Jalen Harvey, who makes the catch falling down to the ground, and Harvey about a yard or two shy of the first down, and now Harvey falls to the ground needing some help. Once again, cramping up is the talented junior receiver. He'll get some help from coaching and other personnel on the sidelines who are stretching out his legs. A 9-yard pickup to be exact on the pass from Keelan Benjamin to Jalen Harvey. Makes 2nd and 1 for the Gauchos. Ball at the Wildcat 39-yard line. Odd formation here with 2 running backs in front of Benjamin, who is in a shotgun set. He hands the ball off to Austin Harper, and Austin Harper once again showing that great speed and great agility. Cuts it up the field towards the right side, and a first down pickup once more for the El Cerrito Gauchos.
Yeah, Marin Catholic Wildcats defense getting tired of chasing around all these weapons that El Cerrito has. If it isn't Benjamin, it's Benjamin. If it isn't Benjamin, it's Harvey. That time, it was the running back, Harper, taking him on the outside for another first down.
Man in motion. Benjamin fakes the give to him, keeps it himself, runs into his own offensive line, and tries to continue forward after the contact made with his own player, his own teammate. And Keelan Benjamin might have picked up a yard, if anything. No, actually, he almost lost a yard. He did lose a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 11.
Yeah, a lot of Marin Catholic Wildcats with their hands on their hips. They're winded. They just need to bear down for a few more plays here, as this is a huge possession here as El Cerrito tries to equalize this game up at 28.
Inside 10 minutes now left to play here in this game. 2nd and 11. Benjamin looking downfield. He throws a spiral deep intended for the end zone, and the ball is incomplete and nearly intercepted.
Yeah, it was nearly intercepted there, but that's because the safety for Marin Catholic got away with a pass interference in the back of the end zone. He clearly bumped number 11, Jalen Harvey, as he ran a deep post pattern. He tried to go up for the ball, and he was bumped in the back, but no call on the play, and that forces a 3rd and long coming up, Michael.
Keelan Benjamin trying to throw a spiraling bomb to Harvey. Great coverage back in the secondary for the Wildcats, and El Cerrito will call a timeout with 9 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in this very exciting and thrilling North Coast Section Division III championship game.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/playonnetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
All right, thank you, Todd. El Cerrito, 9-8 overall in the North Coast Section playoffs. They are 0-1 versus teams from the Marin Catholic Athletic League. Their only game was against Tamalpais in 2009, in which they lost 33-13 in a first-round game. They have advanced to 3 NCS title games, but have come up short in all 3 of them. And trying to avoid being upset for the 5th time in the NCS playoffs. 3rd and 11, Benjamin nearly fumbling the snap. He looks for the corner of the end zone to Jalen Harvey on a jump ball, and Harvey cannot bring in the pass from Benjamin.
Wow, unbelievable.
Jalen Harvey jumping up to get it, and it goes off his hands, Todd.
Yeah, Michael, Jalen Harvey had that one. He came back to the ball before the defender was able to turn his head around, and he had a clear shot at it. Went right through his hands and hit him right in the helmet. Unfortunately for Jalen Harvey, who's made so many unbelievable plays throughout this entire run for the Gauchos, unable to come up with the big play on 3rd and 11. Looks like they might go for it here on 4th down, trying to atone for that mistake. Let's see if they go back up to Harvey.
They are going to go for it. They figure they're deep in Marin Catholic Wildcat territory, and if they don't get it, there's still plenty of time. And now the Wildcats will call a timeout. And so, Todd, I got to ask you here, if you're El Cerrito, what kind of play are you drawing up to convert this 4th and long?
Well, I think it depends on what sort of defense they give you, the look that they give. Last time on the 3rd and 11 play that we just saw, they came with the blitz up the middle with the linebackers, and they had Harvey singled up on the outside. So if you get a similar look with your linebackers creeping like they're going to blitz, I wouldn't mind going up top to Harvey again, or maybe possibly to the other side to Rice or to Keelan Benjamin's twin brother, Keith Benjamin, over the middle. He's been open. The receivers have been open, and they just haven't been able to connect on any long ones. But Marin Catholic calling the timeout in this situation, it's going to be interesting to see if El Cerrito changes their decision-making a little bit here. They could go for a field goal. Probably not in this situation. I guess they're probably going to go for it. But still, interesting decision here by the El Cerrito Gauchos, and a huge play here in the game.
Yeah, I like what you said with the Benjamin to Benjamin. That's that telepathic twin brother connection. You'd think they'd use that chemistry to their advantage. Keelan Benjamin drops the snap, picks it up, starts running,
and he got the first down.
Sprinting towards the first down marker, and Todd saying he got it. There's no official call made that he's got it. And now there is one, and yes, Keelan Benjamin turning what could have been a costly turnover into great success as he picks up the fumbled snap off the turf and just takes matters into his own hands, sprinting forward towards the right sideline for a first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Gauchos. Ball down at the Marin Catholic 11-yard line, and now the referees are going to signal timeout taken by Marin Catholic.
That's going to leave them with 1 timeout left in the entire game here. They had to use 2 on back-to-back plays on defense, and wow, Keelan Benjamin, what can you say about the guy? He fumbled the snap, able to regain his composure and regain the ball, picking up 12 when he needed 11, picking up a huge first down on 4th and 11 and keeping this drive alive. Just an incredible play by Keelan Benjamin. I got so excited I sort of stepped on your call there. I apologize for that, Michael. But, man, he had it, and the referee on the far side, I was watching him. He definitely signaled first down, that he had it by just a yard, and he needed every bit of that 11 yards, and he got it. Great job by Keelan Benjamin in this El Cerrito offense.
And I hate to correct you, Todd, but actually it was been put to my attention by our producer, Zach Farmer, that is indeed the last timeout taken by Marin Catholic. So they now have no more timeouts remaining for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and that could definitely come into play here. It's going to be a close game depending on what El Cerrito does here on offense.
And the El Cerrito fans say, hey, good thing you got that one wrapped up, man. Don't be giving them any extra timeouts. 1st and 10 for the Gauchos at the Wildcat 11-yard line. Benjamin under center, fumbles a snap but falls on top of it. And so now the wet and rainy weather conditions really starting to make their way into this ball game as Benjamin is now fumbled away the last 4 snaps. Luckily, he's made plays happen and hasn't lost any of those 4 fumbled snaps. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Ball at the Marin Catholic 12-yard line. 1 receiver split far to the left side, and another fumbled snap. Fumbled exchange from the center to Keelan Benjamin. The center
Yeah, the weather is definitely
Jesse Wilson.
Absolutely having a tremendous impact here on the game. Keelan Benjamin unable to take the snap. He's fumbled really 3 straight plays. 5 fumbles have hit the ground from in his hands on offense here in the second half alone. He's only lost 1 of them, but it was a huge one that Marin Catholic turned into a touchdown. They're going to have to get that sorted out here if they're going to try to tie this game up here.
3rd and long for the Gauchos. Deep inside Marin Catholic territory at the 14-yard line. Lofting one up towards the corner of the end zone. And it is caught for a touchdown. Keelan Benjamin completing a pass to Jalen Harvey, the captain who dropped a for sure touchdown pass earlier in this drive around the same portion of the end zone, that far right corner. And this time, he makes up for his earlier wrongdoings.
Oh, absolutely. Jalen Harvey, you knew he was not going to come down with that without the ball. He went up for that, and he's like, I got this all the way. After dropping the big 3rd down play just a few plays ago, he's able to atone for that mistake and tie this game up with the extra point that is up and good. What a play by Jalen Harvey, making up for the mistake. Like I knew that he would. Jalen Harvey's been the player of the game offensively and defensively, and we are all tied up.
And famed Bay Area high school journalist Harold Abend saying that is a 10-play, 80-yard drive. He's beside himself with this game. 11. Now he's correct. 11-play, 80-yard drive, and I think he knew this game was going to be close, did young Harold, but I didn't think he thought that it was going to be this close. Back and forth between the two teams, like we're seeing here tonight. Todd, this might be the best game I've seen all year round.
Yeah, and it's not even close to being over. We still got 8.5 minutes left, Michael. So if you're watching this on the Play On Sports Network, you're not out here getting soaked like the rest of us, but I'm sure you're watching an incredible game like we all are here at Pinole Valley High School. 28-28 for the North Coast Division III Championship on the line.
And that is the first passing touchdown of the game for either squads. Benjamin to Harvey to tie this thing up. A short, sky-high kick that is taken by Marin Catholic's number 27, Mikey Devine. And great kick, great coverage as far as that's what they were set to do. They wanted to kick it high and make sure the coverage was there to make the tackle early, and that's exactly what they did on that play.
Yeah, they didn't want to kick it deep to Celis or some of the playmakers that Marin Catholic has deep, so they go with the short pooch kick and cover it well. Marin Catholic's going to have 1st and 10 here from the 35-yard line.
And the El Cerrito fan faithful getting their loudest defense chant going of the night. It is 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 34-yard line. Jared Goff, who engineered a scoring drive his last time out, a 30-yard touchdown run. Can he do the same here again? Goff taking the shotgun snap, quick release over the middle of the field, and it is caught by Andrew Celis. Celis makes the catch and brings the Wildcats into El Cerrito territory. Right at around the El Cerrito 44-yard line, make that the 43-yard line, and El Cerrito quick to get right back to where the ball is placed by the refs. That no-huddle offense that they've displayed all night. Man in motion now, trying to get set. And it's Terry on the carry. And he is brought down quickly by the El Cerrito Gauchos defense. It was Bryson Singleton on the tackle, and his helmet came off in the process, so he will head to the sidelines. After the 2-yard gain from Terry, the tackle from Bryson Singleton. 2nd and 8 for the Marin Catholic Wildcats at the El Cerrito 41-yard line. Goff about 5 yards behind his center in shotgun set, and about 2 yards behind him is Terry. Terry takes the late delayed give by Goff, and he doesn't get anywhere on that play. He tries to run up the middle and a little bit towards the left side in between the center and left guard, and There are some big men up front plugging that one up.
Yeah, nice job by Quentin Anderson coming up and making the fill on the short run play, picking up now, or setting up, I should say, a 3rd down and 6.
Terry was able to pick up 2 yards, but nothing more than that. 3rd and 6 now for the Wildcats. And telling these crowds to get up is Devontae Akpon for the El Cerrito Gauchos. He's on the sidelines, really rallying this crowd into a frenzy. 3rd and 6, Goff in shotgun set, Terry in motion. Now they get set. It's Goff keeping it himself, and he is sacked by the El Cerrito Gauchos defense. They suffocated the senior signal caller there. He had nowhere to go. He was brought down for a loss of yards. And now, if you're at Marin Catholic, what are you going to do here, Todd? It's 4th and long. You're inside El Cerrito territory, but you're pretty far back at their own 40, at the El Cerrito 42. You could try to coffin corner punt here, but I think with the way that Goff has been able to pick up first downs in crucial situations, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't go for it if I were them. I think they're going to try to draw the defense off sides and take the delay of game, but we'll see what happens.
And now a timeout will be taken by the El Cerrito Gauchos, who are dancing on the sidelines, urging their fans to get loud. Remember, this is a team last week who threw out a lot of controversy from the way they were chirping and chatting on the field, and now they've kind of let the players on the bench, if anything, just make the fans do that. They've rallied the fans. They are trying to avoid any trouble possible. And so with the timeout, 6 minutes, 11 seconds left, I do go back to my analyst, Todd Allen. Todd, it's been an amazing game up to this point, but Marin Catholic now in a situation where they've called the timeout. I don't think they're going to be able to ice El Cerrito now this time around, try to get him to jump. What is Marin Catholic going to do here?
Punt. Looks like they're setting up for a punt, which I think was the right decision. I think if they were going to bring their offense out there and try to get him to jump, maybe a good decision by El Cerrito.
Play a field position game.
And I think Marin Catholic's going to set up and punt. It's the right thing to do in this situation.
There's still plenty of time.
Deep.
Yeah, plenty of time, 6-11, and I think Todd is right on the money.
But with this wet field, anything can happen on this snap.
Punt here from Andrew Celis, another good one. Sky-high punt that will bounce into the end zone despite a leaping, sprawled-out attempt by a man on the punt squad to try to down it before reaching the end zone for Marin Catholic, but it will be to no avail. A touchback now for the El Cerrito Gauchos, who will get an advancement out to the 20-yard line. That is where they will start this drive.
Momentum back on El Cerrito's side. The crowd is back into it. The sideline hooping and hollering after the defense comes up huge with the sack on 3rd down, forcing the punt for Marin Catholic. I think this is their first punt of the ballgame, if I'm not mistaken. El Cerrito takes over with a chance to take a lead.
And so here are the Gauchos, a team that are considered to have more Division I talent than any other school in the Bay Area. And it's a run play on the first play of this possession. And the man is down. Oh, no, it's Jalen Harvey, the one who took the ball on a jet sweep play from left to right. Harvey, who's been cramped up all night. We've seen him, after a couple of catches, go down to his back right away on the sidelines. And a fan who feels he knows Jalen better than anyone else here. He's saying, get up, you're okay. But Jalen right now does not look to be okay. He is down, he is not getting up, and the El Cerrito fans are, the players meanwhile, down to a knee, fans silent as can be.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened on the play, Michael. It looked like it was behind the play. Perhaps Jalen was blocking and he got hit low, but he's definitely down and in a lot of pain. He has been struggling with cramps this entire second half. He's been on the sidelines getting stretched out by his coaches and his trainers. Let's hope it's just more cramps, but he appears to be in a lot of pain down there near the El Cerrito sideline.
And now look at the El Cerrito fans chanting, Jalen, Jalen. You want to talk about willing a person out of an injury. That's what these fans are trying to do right now.
Yeah, Jalen Harvey, certainly the heart and soul of this team. He's only a junior, but a guy that plays as many snaps as he does offensively and defensively and makes plays all over the field. They know how important he is. The crowd knows it and the team knows it. Let's hope he's all right.
Jalen Harvey, so good, so talented. And you just kind of got to wonder where he's going to go. His dad, Jason, played at Kennedy of Richmond and at Arizona State and UNLV. And his uncle, Jonathan Harvey, had a good football career at Northwestern. So Jalen comes out of a very talented family tree. According to Marcellus Pippins, his teammate, saying this about Jalen: he's the strong safety. He comes flying in to make the hit. He can jump too, and if they throw a jump ball, he can go up and get it. Part of our dynamic trio, along with Adarius Pickett, and of course Marcellus Pippins talking about himself.
Yeah, those three guys are the heart and soul of the defense, and Jalen especially. He's actually more like a fifth linebacker out there. He plays so close to the line of scrimmage a lot of plays, but he's a guy that's back on his feet. Listen to the crowd, give him an ovation.
And Jalen Harvey being carried off by personnel of the either coaching staff or training staff of El Cerrito. And from the looks of it, I don't think Jalen Harvey's going to be coming back into this ball game. Only 5 minutes, 50 seconds now remaining here in the fourth quarter. It's going to take a remarkable feat of strength for Jalen Harvey to make an appearance in this ball game again. It's Keelan Benjamin on the quarterback keeper, and he comes about an inch shy. No, the refs are going to give him the first down spot. The initial spot looked like he was going to be short, but the referees signal that Keelan Benjamin did quite indeed pick up enough for the first down. And so now it'll be 1st and 10 for the Gauchos at their own 30. Three receivers bunched up in a trip set, split far out to the right side of the field. One of those receivers comes across in motion and takes the handoff, that being Austin Harper. And Austin Harper will be lassoed down by the Marin Catholic defense on the far left side.
Yeah, it looked like they had 5 wide receivers on the play on that one. And Austin Harper, as you mentioned, was part of the bunch formation to the right side. He came all the way across on end-around play, able to pick up about 3 or 4 yards on first down. Clock continues to roll as we go under 5 minutes.
Under 5 minutes left to play here at Duker Stadium, the site of this North Coast section Division III football championship, with not only the division championship and section championship on the line, but also a chance to play in a NorCal Regional Bowl game to advance to the Ultimate State Bowl game for the Division III. And before the play can garner any kind of momentum or steam, the referees call a penalty, and that'll be a false start against the offense.
Yeah, you know what I think they called was a Darius Pickett was coming in motion, and he started creeping towards the line of scrimmage. Darius Pickett, normally in running back, is in there for Jalen Harvey, who's still on the sidelines and doesn't look to be returning. Perhaps not having the experience and know how to properly run in motion cost the Gauchos 5 yards on that play because they were setting up a screen going to Keith Benjamin.
The loss of 5 now results in a 2nd and 12 for the Gauchos, who have 4 receivers, make that 5 receivers on the field, 3 of them to the left, 2 of them split near side to the right, and it's Benjamin off his back foot, completing a pass to his twin brother, Keith Benjamin. That telepathic twin brother connection in full effect there, as it's Keelan to Keith. And Keith picks up 6 yards on the reception. It'll be 3rd and 6 now for the Gauchos at their own 34-yard line. Keith Benjamin bringing the play into the huddle from the sidelines. He's clapping his hands and now looking at his brother to decide what he needs to do for this play. It's Keelan calling out shots. Man in motion. Keelan takes it himself on a delayed quarterback draw, splits to the left side, and now Keelan Benjamin has room to roam, and he's finally tackled at the 50-yard line, but not before picking up a first down.
Yeah, great play there on 3rd and 5. just taking it himself on the, took the snap and just took off down the left guard, able to break a tackle, a really nice tackle actually from the secondary there, Marin Catholic able to prevent from being a bigger play than it already was, but a gain of 15, moves the chains. Clock is set and rolling now as we go under 4 minutes. El Cerrito is in control.
A play designed for the quarterback to keep it himself and run, and the success was more than they could have hoped for. A first down to midfield. Benjamin with plenty of time, and now steps up and will run with it again. This time to the right side of the field, although there is a flag thrown, but Keelan Benjamin picks up a tremendous chunk of yardage, getting the ball down inside the Marin Catholic 20, but this one might get called back.
Yeah, this one is coming back, Michael. Jesse Wilson got caught holding on that one. It really wasn't a necessary hold. Keelan Benjamin had a hole and had a long way to go, but he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Gets called for a 10-yard, really a 40-yard penalty against your offense when you take the play off the board, and now it's going to be 1st and long for the Gauchos.
And I'm looking at your ethos water, it just makes me think of bad ethos, bad ethics there from Wilson. Like you said, couldn't keep his hands out of the cookie jar or off the jersey of the man in which he was trying to block. And yeah, you're right. That is probably the biggest penalty of the game, of the night so far, because it takes them from where they could have been inside the Marin Catholic 20, now backs them all the way up into their own 37-yard line. Trips look to the right side, 2 receivers to the left. It's Keelan Benjamin backing up, now calling out players along the right side to try to change their routes. Spins away from pressure, now has to throw a ball and does complete the pass.
It's intercepted.
Make that, no! It's intercepted. And that pass intercepted by Jared Lazor. Wow, he stepped in just in the nick of time, Todd. I thought that ball was complete from Benjamin to Benjamin, but Lazor must have just made a really good break on the ball and got there just in the nick of time.
Yeah, he sure did. Benjamin to Benjamin had been hooking up pretty much the entire game, especially along the sidelines when Keith comes back to the ball, but unfortunately on that time, only a sophomore, Jared Lazor, number 45, steps in front, makes an incredible interception, and stays in bounds. More importantly, Marin Catholic now taking over well into El Cerrito territory at the 38-yard line with only 2 minutes and 49 seconds left in this game, Michael.
2 minutes, 49 seconds, and it's Goff, the signal caller, the senior committed to Cal, who has played so cool and calm throughout the season and most notably throughout the playoffs. Handing the ball off to his running back, another senior, Akili Terry. No gain on the run for Terry. 2nd and 10 now for the Wildcats. 4-receiver look with 2 receivers to each side. Terry behind Goff. And it's Terry taking the postponed handoff from Goff. Goff held on to it for a while. Thought he was going to maybe keep it again, Todd, but this time he did just let his running back take it, and Terry gets 2 yards.
Very dangerous play there. It looked like the ball almost came out there, but another nice play by Derek Calhoun. That's back-to-back nice plays for the middle linebacker for El Cerrito, setting up a 3rd and long.
3rd and long, and once again the El Cerrito bench urging the fans to make as much noise as possible. About 1:45 left to play in this game. 4th quarter. It's Goff handing it off to Terry once again. Terry up the middle, and Terry will not have enough for the first down as he was tripped up by the Gauchos.
Interesting play call there on 3rd and 8. You go for the draw play. Maybe they're trying to catch him by surprise, but it didn't work. Only picked up 3 yards. 4th down upcoming with the clock still rolling, close to 1 minute left in the game.
I agree. I would have thought for sure Goff would have looked to the air on that play to convert the 3rd. Now it's going to be 4th and 5. Ball placed at the El Cerrito 33-yard line. Goff in shotgun set with 4 receivers and Terry Akili to his right side. Goff fakes the give to Terry. Now launches a pass right side, and it is caught. It is caught by Colton Hanley, the 6'4", 190-pound senior, for a Wildcat first down with 55.4 seconds left. The ball stopped momentarily after the first down, and now the clock resuming to roll once again. At the El Cerrito 20-yard line, it's Goff shouting out instructions. 4 receivers, Terry's right behind him. Goff fakes the handoff to Terry once again, looks to the right side, and that pass is knocked away, incomplete. But there is a flag, and I think they're going to call pass interference on the quarterback in coverage.
Yeah, I think you're right. I see a yellow flag over there right where the pass fell incomplete. Looks like they're going to get the safety. Pass interference against the defense. You nailed it. Going to give Marin Catholic another set of downs here as they inch towards the goal line with only 36 seconds left to play.
Time becoming an issue now for El Cerrito. El Cerrito, who hasn't attempted a field goal tonight. Marin Catholic has. They just couldn't do anything with it. Remember, they attempted that one field goal, but the snap went way high.
Oh, that's right.
Chris Hill had to retrieve to get it. Retreat back towards he had to go about a good 20 yards to go get the fumbled snap, the high snap, and it was a turnover on downs.
Yeah, and that was a much deeper attempt too, so you know they have confidence in their kicker to make a long field goal from here. It looks like they're just at the 10-yard line, so they're well within field goal range for Celis, who I assume is their field goal kicker, because he's the one that kicks off, right, Michael?
Celis kicks off, but he will not be doing the PATs because he's the holder.
Oh, okay.
So it will be Chris Hill, who has knocked through all his PATs tonight. He's 4-4 on extra point tries.
Yeah, so Hill is well within his range right here. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. They are out of timeout, so they try to get a touchdown here with maybe run a little bit of clock before the end of the game, not giving El Cerrito a chance to get the ball back, or do they kick soon? It's first down upcoming here for Marin Catholic.
First and goal at the 10-yard line for Jared Goff and his Wildcats. 3 receiver look to the left, 1 receiver to the right. Goff fakes the handoff. Now steps up and throws a pass that's batted away. He was looking for his big guy, the junior Morgan Mahalik, but the pass was knocked away by James Rice.
James Rice had his hands on that one. Looked like he almost had the interception, but he did knock it away for an incomplete pass. But that was a dangerous pass by Goff there over the middle of the field late.
Man, would El Cerrito have loved that interception.
Yeah, I'm sure Rice would have wanted that one back. He had his hands on it and wasn't able to haul it in.
And I would think El Cerrito, or make that Marin Catholic, would try to run some clock out and then kick a second expiring field goal, but instead they're going to try to pass. It's Goff to the skies, and Goff out of the end zone, incomplete with his pass.
Trying to hit his big receiver Colton Hanley in the back of the end zone, but just airmailed it out the back of the end zone. Now third down upcoming.
And these pass plays working towards the advantage of El Cerrito because it's giving them more time. And time is of the essence for the Gauchos. They need as much time as they can get. And I guess now with 26 seconds, they figure
bringing Hill out.
It's either now or never to go for the lead as the Wildcats attempting to take the lead with a field goal. A 27-yard attempt from the right hash by Chris Hill. The kick is up, and the kick is good! Chris Hill knocks through a game-changing field goal with 22.8 seconds left. He gives his Marin Catholic Wildcats a 3-point advantage, 31-28.
What a clutch kick by Hill. Cole hasn't been in the game much in this second half, comes right off the bench and nails it just inside of the right upright to give his Marin Catholic Wildcats the lead with 22 seconds remaining. Just a clutch kick by Chris Hill.
And with so little time left, we might as well just do a little prep hype up for our player of the game. And if the score stays, I'd have to say that Chris Hill would be our guy for that kick. But anything could happen with this El Cerrito squad, who has just been so athletic and so fast on the season with a bunch of D1 talent. But I'm sure that Marin Catholic's not even going to try to put the ball anywhere near them talented playmakers.
Yeah, but you got to be careful, though. You don't want to kick it out of bounds here. But you're right. They don't want to kick it deep to any of the guys that that El Cerrito Gauchos have back deep. But they have playmakers all over the field. They just want to get this ball and give it back in Keelan Benjamin's hands. Give him one last opportunity to heave it downfield or to use it with his legs and give his kicker a chance at an equalizing field goal. But not a lot of time remaining here in this Division III championship for the El Cerrito Gauchos.
No one is in their seats here for either sidelines. Everyone on their feet in anticipation of what's going to happen in these next 22.8 seconds. Marin Catholic taking a 3-point lead thanks to the 27-yard field goal by Hill. Ball bounces into the laps of a returner for El Cerrito, and still on his feet and getting a pretty good return. Stopping the clock with 13.1 seconds left is Adarius Pickett. And so this is where the fun will start for El Cerrito or for everyone involved. This is the game.
Yeah, 13.1 seconds. You think maybe you can get one play, perhaps two, if you can get the ball out of bounds before trying to attempt a game-tying field goal. But you know who's going to get the ball. It's going to be Keelan Benjamin. He's going to run around and try to make something happen, whether he gets a guy open downfield or just decides to take off and run. Time is definitely of the essence. Only 13 seconds remaining in this game.
Austin Harper not on the field for this play. Keelan Benjamin in the backfield by himself. Receives the snap. Receivers to his disposal. He completes a pass across the middle of the field to Marcellus Pippins, who breaks off a tackle and is still on his feet. Marcellus Pippins dragging defenders down with him all the way to the 15-yard line. But the game is over. He does not get down in time, and I don't know if El Cerrito had any timeouts left, and that will end the game.
Wow. What an incredible finish. Pippins was breaking tackles, looked like he was going to possibly take it to the house, but it ended up backfiring because once the guys grabbed onto him, and Marin Catholic, the clock ran out, and Marin Catholic is your Division III champion, Michael.
Yes, that is indeed the truth. The Marin Catholic Wildcats win this game in dramatic fashion, battling back and forth with the top seed of this North Coast Section Division III bracket, and it's the 2 seed upsetting and upending the top-seeded El Cerrito Gauchos. Yes, indeed, the number 2 seed Marin Catholic Wildcats from Kentfield, California are your 2012 North Coast Section Division III champions for the sport of football, and they will most likely be moving on to play another game next weekend in the NorCal State Regional Bowl games. There is a handshake from one of the players, number 77 of Marin Catholic, rushing to shake people's hands. That's Gunnar Graham, a senior.
He just wants to give respect to the El Cerrito Gauchos team and coaching staff. What a great game we saw here tonight. 2 equally matched teams and a lot of great sportsmanship going on the field right now. Both teams definitely had a chance to win, and they had every opportunity to win. One team had to lose, and unfortunately for El Cerrito, they were the ones that ended up not on top. Marin Catholic takes it in the end.
For Marin Catholic, that is their 9th North Coast Section championship. And so, who will be our player of the game? Well, we'll figure that one in just a second, folks, but we are going to take a break while Todd Allen and I discuss who should be the player of the game, and once we make that decision, Todd will head on down to the field and get that person. It's going to be a while because they're going to have the trophy presentations and the medal presentations to both squads, so it will take a while. But, folks, we will get to that as soon as we can. Before we do that, we'll have a little post-game show as well. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked to playonsports.com, as we will have a lot of post-game coverage following this exciting game that we just witnessed here for the North Coast Section Division III title. We'll be right back, folks.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. We're working on getting an interview with Jared Goff, the senior quarterback, starting quarterback for the Marin Catholic Wildcats, who was the leader and controlled the tempo and played a big part in why his team won their 9th North Coast Section Championship in school history this year in 2012 by a final score of 31-28 over the top-seeded El Cerrito Gauchos. It was a game that went back and forth throughout the entire game, especially in the second half. They were trading scores left and right. Started with all the scoring started with the El Cerrito kickoff return early in the game, the opening kickoff return that they took all the way down to the 11-yard line to the Gauchos, and then they were able to punch it in, one and done. First play is Keelan Benjamin took the snap, couldn't find anything in the pass game, and so he ran with it himself into the end zone for 11 yards to, like I said, start the game. Gauchos got off to a good head start, 7-0 right away, and you thought, okay, this Gauchos offense might be able to do a lot tonight. But Marin Catholic was up for the challenge, and they were there for him stride for stride. Marin Catholic was able to get into the end zone in their own right in the first quarter. They had an 11-play, 71-yard drive, which ended with a Celis 3-yard run for a touchdown. The PAT was good, 7-all at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, it was Marin Catholic that once again struck first. They built upon the tie that they took, or the tie that they got, and then took the lead on a 5-play, 83-yard drive with another Andrew Celis touchdown run. This time, he exploded down the left sideline for a 65-yard gallop. The PAT was good, giving the Marin Catholic Wildcats their first lead of the evening, 14-7 with 7 minutes and 46 seconds left in the second quarter. Then, about 3 minutes later in the second quarter, it was El Cerrito who had a 3-play, 31 drive of their own, and it was an 8-yard pass to Marcellus Pippins from Keelan Benjamin. Pippins with a great catch to tie things up after the extra point was good. 14-all with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left to go in the second quarter, and that's how the first score would end up at a 14-14 tie. Then Marin Catholic would get the ball to start the second half, and they would go on a 6-play. Well, actually, both teams would kind of go back and forth trading possessions, and then it was Marin Catholic who scored with 5 minutes and 6 seconds left in the third quarter. A 6-play, 61-yard drive that was punctuated with a 1-yard touchdown run by Keely Terry. The point try was good afterwards, 21-14, and then El Cerrito would tie it back up as they would score with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left in the third quarter, thanks to a 60-yard touchdown run on 3rd and 10 from their quarterback, Keelan Benjamin. Benjamin just showed great burst and exploded down the far sideline. The extra point was good. 21-21 was the score going into the fourth quarter. And then at the beginning of the fourth quarter, the first play in the fourth quarter, Marin Catholic got a big play of their own, a 30-yard touchdown run from their quarterback, who we've just picked out as our player of the game, Jared Goff, as he struck and sprinted forward down the far right sideline for his first running score, his first overall score of the night, with, like I said, 11:52 left in the fourth. The PAT was good, 28-21, but then El Cerrito showing no quit as they would go on a 10-play, 80-yard drive later on, and they would get a 13-yard touchdown pass from Keelan Benjamin to Jalen Harvey with 8 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Like I said, the extra point was good, and that would knot things up at 28. And it was key to note that Jalen Harvey was making plays in the fourth quarter, but almost after every play he made, he would come off to the sidelines and automatically fall to his back to the ground, needing attention from the staff in order to kind of stretch him out as he was starting to cramp up. And Marin Catholic finally would get their last possession in the fourth quarter. And with 22.8 seconds, a 27-yard field goal attempted from the far right hash by the junior kicker Chris Hill. He banged it through the uprights and good to give his team the 3-point lead, 31-28. El Cerrito tried to do all they can. They had a remarkable kick return on a very shallow kick. And then a wide open play opened up 2 pass plays, actually. One from Keelan Benjamin to his brother Keith, and then another one from Keelan Benjamin to Adarius Pickett. But Pickett had no time, no timeouts, and eventually was tackled with the final seconds waning, and that's how it would end. They couldn't get the ball out of bounds or stop the clock on the final reception, and the fans rushed the field for Marin Catholic as they were in jubilation with their Wildcats, the 2 seed, upending the number 1 seeded El Cerrito Gauchos, preventing an undefeated season from the El Cerrito Gauchos as their record now goes to 13-1. They were spotless with no blemishes. Now they have that lone blemish, and they will not be advancing to see another game. Their season is completely done for the sport of football. Meanwhile, Marin Catholic improves to 13-1, and they will, by virtue of winning this game, live to see another game next week in the NorCal Regional Bowl playoff games out at Sacramento State. It's yet to be determined on who Marin Catholic will play. Escalon did lose today, so it won't be Escalon. We know that, but it's going to be a toss-up to see who they will play. It might be a team from the Sac Joaquin section. It could be a team from the CCS, Central Coast section. All that will be determined this week, but that is it. That recaps the scoring. It was a great game. We're still waiting for our player of the game, which was Jared Goff, as Todd Allen went down on the fields to retrieve him. So, folks, we're going to take another quick breather, and then we will be back with our player of the game interview here on the Postgame show presented by PlayOnSports.com and CIFNorthCoast.tv. PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. CIFNorthCoast.tv, your destination for everything North Coast section. Folks, please stick around for this interview. It's going to be a really good one with one of the more standout players, if not one of the best player in the Bay Area, Jared Goff. Don't go anywhere.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
All right, folks, welcome back to the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. We have our player of the game interview with the quarterback, Jared Goff of the Marin Catholic Wildcats, the North Coast Section Division III champs, Marin Catholic Wildcats. Jared, you seem a little exhausted.
Oh, man, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. There's not very many words to describe it. I'm lost for words right now. Wow.
Well, you have been the guy that has kind of controlled this you have controlled this offense all season as the signal caller. It's been noted about your poise, your calmness, your coolness. A lot of people relating you to another famous quarterback in the Bay Area is Joe Montana. How do you feel when people kind of give you those lofty expectations and those comparisons, and you're only a senior in high school? Like you said, you're still playing video games and doing stuff that high school seniors are doing.
Yeah, to even be mentioned in the same sentence with a guy like Joe Montana or any great quarterback, any quarterback in the NFL for that matter, is just – it's a great honor. You know, I try to stay calm and poised and, do my job on offense. And, today the defense won it for us today, and our kicker.
Let's talk about the kicker. What was your thoughts as he was lining up for that field goal, and then as he was making the field goal?
Yeah, well, I knew he was going to make it. He makes every single one he takes in practice. I knew he was going to make it, and he made a clutch one last year. same thing, but we ended up losing. But you know, it's just come to fruition now. You know, made that final field goal, and I'm lost for words. Like I said, I mean, it was just incredible.
And I was there to broadcast last year's game in which you guys kicked at the time, the game-leading field goal with 2 minutes left, and then Campolindo marches down, and they kick the game-winning field goal with time expiring. Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth, and was that kind of your fuel to your fire this offseason and going in and leading up to this game?
Most definitely. Most definitely. We've been talking about that for a while now. Just that bitter feeling that we had after that game, and it's awful. It's a terrible feeling, but, you know, it fueled our fire, and it just made this win so much better.
Well, you guys are going to live to see another game next week. You will be playing a NorCal Regional Bowl game to try to advance to state. You don't know who you're playing yet, but you guys feeling pretty confident, right? And
of course. Yeah, we feel good about ourselves right now. Coming off 2 great wins like this, we feel great.
Awesome. And last but not least, I got to leave you off with this. I broadcasted 2 games of yours in the past. I broadcasted the 2010 game when you guys lost to Ensenada at home, and I broadcasted last year's game at the Coliseum when you lost to Campo. I felt like I was a jinx, but then I told Mozzie, I said, hey, you guys were wearing the blue that time around. Maybe the fact that you're wearing the white going to change things up a little bit. And what do you know? You guys get the win. So any final words that you'd like to say to anybody before you get on the bus? Or any shout-outs?
Thanks to everyone for coming out tonight and supporting us. It's been a great season, and we've got more work to do.
More work to do is indeed, as they will play another game and hopefully advance to the state bowl game. So, folks, one more time, it's this big guy, 6'5", Jared Goff, committed to the University of California. I'm excited because I'm a Cal Bear season ticket holder. I can't wait to see him in the blue and gold. And he rightfully earned player of the game honors, that big 30-yard touchdown run, and just keeping his team controlled, calm, collected, cool, just like Joe Montana. And he puts his team on his back, just like he's done in the playoffs a couple times this year, and leads his team to victory. Their 9th overall North Coast section title in the sport of football. Folks, once again, big ups and thanks to our player of the game, Jared Goff of the North Coast section Division III champs, Marin Catholic Wildcats. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.